All right, so welcome to the One Life, One Chance podcast. I'm your host, Toby Morse. Today, I also have my brother from another mother, my hype man, my sidekick. Since this pandemic, he's been on the episodes, maybe like 10 episodes so far. I try to figure out how many episodes. Welcome, Derek Green.
Thank you for having me back again.
My unofficial official guest host.
Word up.
And we've been trying to make this happen for a really long time. The pandemic happened, traveling back and forth. We miss each other. Welcome to the podcast, Mr. John Lewis.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I never heard anybody missed you before. John Lewis.
I know, it's weird, man.
Sorry.
The funniest part about having this name is I never forget one day, this is after my namesake, he passed away. And I tagged it like, in honor of him, I'm always like, all right, John
Lewis, yeah.
But it was my quote. And I had this lady, you know how people are.
Oh, boy.
She's like, I checked this, I searched this, and John Lewis never said this. And I was like, my name is John Lewis.
It's not bad. Oh, yeah, badass vegan, yes.
Yeah, but she was like, sorry. I'm like, who has time to go fact check a quote? Like,
wow.
Yeah.
Like, y'all got a lot of fucking time. Like, what's my cursing?
Yeah, you want. Yeah, it's all good.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. People got a lot of time with the internet for sure.
Too much time.
Well, I want to know your story, man, because I know what I know about you from online and meeting you and hanging with you, but you were born in Ferguson, Missouri?
Yeah. Wow. Well, I was actually born in Little Rock. And then
Little Rock, Arkansas.
So basically, we moved from banging in Little Rock, if you ever heard of that.
Yes, I've seen that doc.
To Ferguson.
Wow. When the Crips and the Bloods were
you told me about that.
Yeah, man. So I moved from that to Ferguson. And like my mom thought she was doing, the best she could. She had no fucking clue that Ferguson was what it was. And
was she born there in
Little Rock?
Little Rock?
Yeah. My mom, you talk about G, man. My mom was an OG. Like my mom picked cotton as a kid. Like I tell people like, because they're all like, how are you so about social justice and all this? I'm like, man, like I think back, like my mom picked cotton.
Wow.
If somebody wouldn't have spoke up at that time, where the hell would we be right now? So like I can't shut up. Like I don't know how to shut up. Like if I see something wrong, I don't know how to shut up. Like, I get it. I had this one dude, this millionaire dude. I'm not even exaggerating. He wanted to do business with me. And one day he hit me up. He was like, bro, like you don't have to talk about everything. He was like, he's like, I'd love to work with you, but dude, you do this. And I was like, well, I'm glad you want to work with me because I don't want to work with you. Like, fucky, like, I would have been a millionaire a long time ago. I'm not even exaggerating if my morals were different. I can't do certain shit, man. Like, if I feel like I'm launching my supplement, shameless plug, sorry.
No, it's all good, man.
I'm launching my supplements in June, and who I teamed up with, I've been offered 7 figures for my supplement line before. But it was another company, not putting any company name out there, but it was another company that had other animal products on the website. So I'm like, I can't, even though I got my own website, when somebody goes to research and see who I teamed up with, you got, milk and beef stock and all this shit on the other website. Like, that's not a good look for me.
It's not good,
you know what I'm saying?
No.
So believe me, it's hard to be like, hey, I turned down these 7 figures, but at the same time, I know if I keep grinding, it's gonna all pay off. Like this mission I've been on has been 20-something years. Like, I know a lot of people have never heard of me, but I'm like, yo, like, no, this is not an overnight thing. This has been a long, long grind. I'm sure y'all know shit. Like, you know.
Have you always been an outspoken person your whole life, even as a kid?
I didn't think I was, man, until we were cleaning up my mom's house for her. Like, my mom's still alive, but she's got, some health issues. So we help out. And I remember we went home to St. Louis and I'm cleaning up and I found this referral from high school. And basically was like, John is always challenging me in class, and he's always speaking out. Even if I like say something is from the book, he'll be like, "No, that is not correct. This is how." And I kind of blocked that out of my memory. And as I'm reading the referral, like, yeah, that was me. Shit, like I've been that way. So, like I said, my mom was outspoken, so she brought me into that. Like I used to do volunteer work for the NCAACP. Everything. Like I used to always, like, she raised me into that kind of format, man. Like, and coming from Little Rock, like, we got that down south humble love. Yeah. But you can't fuck with us at the same time. Like, we love hard, but we defend as hard as we love. And like I've always been like that.
And you were like that in high school too?
Yeah. You know, and I had a very bad temper. I know people see me now, I'm always smiling. It took a fall to get to where I am. Like, and I tell people, like, I am so grateful for all my fuck ups, man. Like, luckily it was like nothing that harmed anybody physically, but so my senior in high school, I was starting basketball point guard for my high school, McClure High School. Shout out to them.
It's awesome.
You know, growing up. And so senior night. Now, everybody knows this. Senior night, who starts the game, right? Who starts?
The
on
seniors?
Yeah, seniors. We only had 5 seniors, right? Me and the coach had gotten into like some argument about something stupid like the day before senior night. He didn't put me into the second half.
Oh.
Wow.
Now, I got scouts there, my family there,
Wow,
everything.
scouts.
Yeah, everything. And so I'm a team player, man. I love my team. Like, anybody that's ever played with me, they'll tell you, like, nah, I will. My college coach, one of the best things he ever said about me, he was like, the one thing I love about John Lewis is if I tell him to run through that fucking brick wall, he gonna run through that fucking brick wall for me.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget my college teammate, he leaned over to me, he was like, yeah, I'm not running through that fucking wall. Like, but in my head, as my coach was saying it, I was literally looking at that wall like, I can get through that motherfucker. If I need to. But like, I've always had that mentality. So, so backtrack to my senior in high school, he didn't put me into the second half. And then he took me out in like maybe a minute and a half after that. And I'm boiling, dude. And then, like, it was like the cartoon. You remember like Tom and Jerry, like the devil will be on one shoulder and the angel will be on the other shoulder. I'm walking back towards the bench and like the devil's like, fuck it, let him have it. And the angel's like, don't do it, John. Don't do it. And so the devil won that day because as I'm walking back to the bench, I like snap. And I go, what the fuck is wrong with you? Now, I'm an 18-year-old kid.
Damn.
And I lost it, dude. Like, and I'm one of those people like, once I lose it, well, fuck it. We already lost it. Let's go. Like, so I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And like, I don't know if you ever saw like The Last Dragon, the movie The Last Dragon.
Probably a long time ago, yeah.
So there's a scene in there where like The Last Dragon and he's trying to talk to his girl in the top tier of the club and he's trying to yell something to her and she can't hear him and all of a sudden the music just cuts and like what he was trying to say in secret was just loud as fuck.
Yeah,
the whole club.
everything pauses.
That's how it was for me. Like the band was playing. The ball, like, all you heard was like the trumpet go meow, like everything, and everybody like looking at me, and like I'm still like, man, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like I bust my ass for you, and this and that. Like I'm pissed, I'm hot, and I'm like, I can when people talk about no fucks given, when I get there, I'm there, and so I sit next to him on the bench. Now, mind you, I'm like 6'2" at the time, like I'm a senior in high school. I'm 6'2", I'm skinny at this point. But I sit right next to him, and I'm literally like just looking at him, like you motherfucker, man. And like to the point where I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to the locker room. And he goes, yeah, you should. And I was like, what the fuck you just say? Like that's all I needed. And he looked back and he's like he looks at the ground. Now mind you, we had a team of all black athletes. And then a white coach, you know, and it was just like
White Shadow. Remember that?
Yeah. And the bad thing was it wasn't a racist thing. He wasn't racist. It was just a fucked up.
Yeah.
You're an adult. I'm a kid.
Yeah.
Like no matter what we argued about, it's senior night. Like if we would have had 6 seniors and we had a senior that wasn't starting the whole year, I would have honestly been like, you know what? That's my boy. Let him start. Like,
Yeah,
cool.
absolutely.
We got 5 seniors.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
5. Like I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We only got 5. If you take me out the mix, like what? Like so, I go to the locker room, and I'm in there and I'm talking to myself again. I'm like, man, John, like I'm big on talking to yourself. I think that gets us out of a lot of trouble. And I'm like, John, that's your team. Fuck the coach. You can't leave your team right now. So as I come out the locker room, it's 3 cops waiting on me.
What?
Whoa!
Yeah. And they're like, yeah, you can't go back out there. I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like, yeah, you threatened the coach's life. I'm like, no, I said, what the fuck is wrong with you? I didn't say I'm gonna fuck you up. Like, you got your fucks mixed up. Like,
wow.
I'm like, so they didn't let me back out there. I had to go to we had like a back gym, and I'm back there just shooting the ball, like trying to calm myself down. My mom is still in the crowd, you know, like. That's the one time my mom was like, it's okay, but like she wasn't mad at me because she understood. She understood like you a senior in high school. You didn't put everything into basketball.
Yeah.
Like,
Can't they call the cops, man?
What year was this? Like,
95. I graduated high school in 95. So, games are on Friday nights in high school. I come back Monday, all the other students are like, yo, what you did, that's crazy, bro. Like, they giving me props. Like, yo, I would have did the same shit. Like, that was fucked up what he did. It's about second period, I get called to the office. I'm like, I'm not even thinking nothing about it. I go to the office.
The police.
It's crazy.
I go to the office. The principal, now mind you, the high school I went to, my brother went to that high school. I'm close to both my brothers, but I'm closer to my middle brother. And to the point when he was in high school, I was the mascot of that team. That's how much like bond I have with this school.
Yeah.
And so the principal is like tears in her eyes. I'm like, what's going on, Miss Walker? Like, what's going on? And she's like, I got bad news. I'm like, what's going on? She's like, because of the incident that happened on Friday, they wanted to expel you from school.
Oh my
Now, mind you, this is the end of basketball season, so it's March. No, it's February. It's February. High school is a little bit sooner. In fact, it was February 14th when it happened because I still got a scar. I never forget we was in home ec class. We were making candied apples, and the candy fell on my fucking finger. And if you look right here, I'm no exaggerating, it fell in the shape of a heart. Right here.
Wow.
It fell and burned me in the shape of a heart on Valentine's Day. That's why I hate Valentine's Day to this day. Like, I can't fucking stand it.
Holy shit.
So I come back the next Monday, so it's like February 17th or something, and she's like, yeah, they wanted to expel you, but I got them out of that. But we still got to suspend you for 10 days. So they suspended me for 10 days. Now, mind you, we about to go into like conference finals,
Yeah.
and we got to kick you off the team.
It's fucking brutal.
Oh
That's
my.
So when I tell you I learned so much at 18, like one moment can make or break you. Like, you know how many times you see my page? You know how many times I want to snap on a motherfucker that comes on my page?
Yeah.
And I got this one incident that always reminds me, like, all it takes is one time and you can fuck up everything.
Forever,
So that's why when people try to get at me, I'm like, dude, you're on the internet. Like, I've been through way worse shit
In real life.
than you in real life than you can think of. And like, that wasn't even the worst thing I've been through. But that was just an incident where I really, really started paying attention. Like, no matter what somebody does to you, how you react is up to you.
Mm-hmm.
That's up to
a
you.
great point,
Like,
man.
I could have easily just sat my ass on the bench,
Right.
shut up, and been ready for the next game and went to conference. Now, would I be where I'm at today? Probably not, because so many different avenues would have changed. But I had to go through that moment. I had to go through it. Like, I hated it, but I had to go through that moment.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot right there.
Was that your goal, to be a professional basketball player, like getting out of school?
Fuck yeah. I thought I was thought I was the best fucking I wasn't, but I thought I was the best thing to ever come out of my high school. And so, backtrack to college, I lost all my scholarships there.
Yeah, they were like, we're not gonna have
Like,
a hot
I'm
head.
not gonna have this fucking loose
Right.
cannon.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like, they don't care about the backstory.
Right.
They're like, I'm not. I had one coach that saw that and was like, I like that shit.
Wow.
And he was a home school. It was a historically black college in St. Louis called Harrisville State College. And Coach Lonnie Cole, I actually just called him 2 weeks ago because I just call him every Father's Day.
Yeah.
And we bumped heads in college. Like, that's the crazy thing. We bumped heads my freshman, sophomore year, and we just got to this bond by my senior year. The same coach that I bumped heads with in college, freshman and sophomore year, was the same one that said if I ask him to run through that fucking brick wall,
Wow.
I know he
Okay.
gonna do it. Because we just came to this understanding, like, I just want to fucking win, man.
Yeah.
And I'll do whatever to win. Like, I'll do whatever.
Was it like a father figure to you in the
Oh,
sense?
dude. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I didn't meet my actual natural-born father until I was 21.
Wow.
So I had this father figure, man. Like, my brothers were my father figures. Like, so I know I'm talking a
Were
lot
you
here.
adopted?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is the crazy thing. This is why I tell people, like, dude, I know I'm this happy, smiley dude, but I done
You
been
got a
through
great
shit.
smile, by the way. Yeah.
Thanks, man. But it's like, it's natural. Like, I don't force it. Like, I look at life like, man, I've been through so much shit that whatever's going on right now, man, this is nothing. Like, so
Yeah.
my mother who raised me was really my grandmother.
Okay.
So my natural born mother was addicted to crack. So I was a crack baby.
Wow.
And so she had already scheduled to have me sold for drug money.
Oh my God.
And my grandmother was like, fuck that. You're not selling my first grandchild. Like, you just not going to do it.
Wow, man.
So she found out about the money thing 2 weeks before my birth. And so we're in Little Rock, Arkansas. Like, they didn't even go to court for this shit. She just adopted me literally from the hospital. So I have 2 birth certificates, literally from like my natural born mother on the birth certificate and then my grandmother on the birth certificate. And so I tell people, like, man, I've been through, like, I started off on rough shit. So like, whatever y'all talking about, man, please, like, just go somewhere with that. So like, you know, I look back, like, so I didn't meet my father until I was 21. My mom, man, and I call my grandmother my mom. I've never disrespected her and called her grandma. I'm like, no, that's my mom, dude. Like, she didn't have to do this. She was 40 years old. Wow. 40. Imagine a single 40-year-old woman. She already had 3 kids.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're in high school and beyond. She didn't have to take a baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, she took on a baby. Like, fuck
it's amazing,
that.
man.
She took on like the stage after an embryo. Like, I'm like still like fresh. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, she didn't have to do that shit. So like, but she busted her ass, man, to show me everything to the point where I tell everybody, like, I know college does not make or break you. It doesn't. Like, you could have 18 degrees and be a fucking dick. Yeah. Or you could have no degrees and be the greatest person in the world. Like, I don't think education, but she did make sure that, like, I saw certain things. Like, I remember her going to school at the University of Missouri St. Louis, and she didn't have a babysitter. So I used to have to sit in the hallway of the university while she's getting her degree because she wanted me to see this. Like, she wanted me to see this. Now, and I knew I better not move from the fucking bench in that hallway. I knew that shit. But I learned, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, black mamas don't play, man. Like, and I just learned so much being in that. Like, I had to go get my degree. Like, it was no other way. I'm like, dude, she sacrificed so much. Now, that's why I preface that by saying, like, you don't have to get your degree. But I knew for me, I had to do that because it just made sense. So when I got to college, man, this man just took me under his wing, and he just wanted the best for me. Like, he really, and he took a shot on me that nobody else took because I developed into 3 times better basketball player in college than I was in high school. Like, your body starts to change. You start lifting weights, and you turn into this beast. Like, by my
I saw the Jordan doc.
Exactly.
I know that's just crazy. Like,
it's crazy. By my junior year in college, I was 215, 6% body fat, and a point guard at 6'6". Wow. Like, I was a beast. Like, I had a 37-inch vertical. It was not like I could do anything I wanted to on the court at that point. And like, I remember I got recruited by like a top tier university. Even did a visit. Like, nobody knew I went to go visit the college. Everything. I was like, fuck it. I came to a small school. I can go to this bigger school. And my mom gave me.
What was the bigger school?
I'm not going to say.
That's why I didn't say it.
Exactly. I am big on protecting names, man. Like,
I love that.
You got to, man. I don't name drop shit. I will, you know, in a small circle, but I don't like I don't like name dropping. So like, I was about to go.
Nice try, Derek.
Yeah.
Ask you afterwards.
It's funny. Every time I see them play, I'm like, like, but I'm glad. Like I said, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing, man, if I wouldn't have took these certain avenues. And I'll never forget. Like, I was about to leave. I was like, yeah, fuck this shit. I'm out of here, man. Wow. I can go top notch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And my mom, she's always hit me with like dope advice, and she goes, yeah, you can leave. And the way she talks, you know, moms know the way to talk to you. Like, yeah, you can go.
Reverse psychology.
Yeah, I mean, you can go definitely, but you know. You got to remember, like, when nobody gave you a shot, it was only one man that gave you a chance. One. And I was like, and before you were as good as you are, he looked at you and was like, I see it in him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, you can go. You can definitely go. And she was like, don't forget, he was the one man. He was like, if you break your back today, I'm going to still make sure you get your degree.
Yeah, that's amazing.
He was like, if you never play a lick of basketball for me, you still got your scholarship. And like, she hit me with that, and I was like, all right, I guess I'm staying in St. Louis.
Yeah,
like,
really believed in you, man.
Yeah, he did, man. Like, to this day, like I said, I called him like 3 weeks ago randomly just to like, hear his voice, man, and he was like excited to hear more. And it was like we was even laughing about the times we bumped heads. Like I'm talking like a pushing, shoving match with your college coach. Like I'm not even like like yeah, like we went at it, and like to this day, that's my boy, man. That's so my boy, Coach Lonnie Cole, man. Like just a great dude. He cared, man. Like he cared about his players. I would always say that. Always cared about his players.
Is he still coaching or?
Nah, he's retired, man.
Okay.
Like, it's funny. I asked him when I talked to him. I was like, "You retired, right?" He's like, "Fuck yeah." He's like, I can't stand you motherfuckers no more. He's like, he was like, back then, players listen. Now everybody got a YouTube channel and they got their own following. He was like, I can't fuck with that because he was a math teacher as well.
Oh wow.
So it's funny. He taught at the high school, and he coached at college. And the high school he coached at the high school he taught at was Wellston High School, which was if anybody from St. Louis said they from Wellston, you like, man, I'm so proud of you. Like Wellston, Ferguson wasn't even as bad as the news makes it. It had its rough spots, but Wellston, bro, like they shut down the Wellston school district at this point. Like it's not even there no more. They basically, which was kind of fucked up. They made this school district go to like their rival like fight school, like not even like, oh, we hate you in basketball. Like no, they fought each other like territorial kind of thing. But they shut down that school district, so a lot of them had to go to the school. Like they didn't even think like what they were doing to those kids.
Oh man,
damn.
So but he was a teacher there, so he was roughneck, tough,
yeah,
but loved the kids, man. He went back, fuck, man, high school teachers ain't getting taught shit. I taught high school for 1 year.
You did?
Wow.
One. And they asked me to come back, and I was like, no.
What grade was it?
I actually was a permanent sub because I was supposed to go overseas to play ball 2001, and then 9/11 happened. And so they canceled everything. I couldn't go anywhere. And so that's the one time I might have been close to depression. Like I always tell people, because I was like, I worked my ass off to get to this point. And I'm like, and the universe will shut your ass up. In a heartbeat, because I was like, in a bad way, I was like, oh, fuck all this shit. I'm leaving St. Louis. I'm out this bitch. I'm going to Europe. Fuck all y'all. I'm out. Peace. And and I'll never forget, like September, I was supposed to leave like September 17th. And then September 11th happened. And this is how crazy it is. As caring as I am, when September 11th happened, the girl I was dating at the time, I remember her knocking on my door like frantically. And I'm like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
She's like, did you see what happened in New York and this and that? And I'm like, no. And so we turned on the TV, and as compassionate and empathetic as I am, I looked at that shit and I was like, oh, okay. Like, I'm leaving. Like, I don't give a fuck.
Wow.
And the universe is like, oh, are you? Yeah, you're leaving, right? Got you. And like I had to go all the people, I was like, fuck you, I'm out, this, that. I'm sitting right next to them like 2 weeks later, like, hey, what's up? No, I didn't leave the country. No, I'm still here. So
were you arrogant back then, or?
I was not arrogant. I wasn't. I was never arrogant. Never have been. I've been confident.
Confident. Yeah.
But I've never been a fucked up person. Like I'm always like, I see fucked up shit all the time.
Yeah.
And like I'm not flashy. I'm not bling bling. I'm not. Like I had my little small era of time, my freshman year in college, where I was like jewelry and it's all about me. And my best friend to this day, who's vegan too, funny, we never talked about veganism. We never talked about film. We've been best friends since we were 11 years old. And we actually became friends because there was a bully in our school that was a fucking asshole.
Wow.
And my best friend had just transferred to our school from where he was from. And he was like, and like one day, mind you, I was obese as a freshman in high school. So I was on my way to obesity in junior high.
Oh my God.
And I just never forget Craig Coleman, my boy, Craig Thomas, my boy. I never forget him saying, I can't stand that motherfucker. And I was like, man, I can't stand him either, man. And like, he was like, man, we should beat his ass. And I was like, we should. He never came back to school after that day. Let's just say that. Like we beat it, like we didn't just go beat his ass. Like he talked shit. He was coming at us.
Right.
And we beat his ass and he never came back. I think he was like, oh shit. And so me and him been like best friends since then. I'm not recommending everybody go beat somebody's ass.
No,
but defend yourself and fuck bullies. Like,
exactly. 100%.
So we've been boys since that day. And like I said, we never talked about film. We never talked about veganism. None of that. So our freshman year in college, he went to another school in St. Louis. He went to a junior college. I went to the 4-year college. And so I hadn't talked to him in a couple of days, but I didn't even trip off of it. Like, you're your best friend. You talk to him, you might not talk to him, whatever. But when you talk to him, it's like, whatever. And he calls me, he's like, what's up? I'm like, yeah, what's up, motherfucker? Like, that's how we talk. Like, what's up, dog? He's like, man, just getting back from the hospital. I'm like, fuck you getting back from the hospital for? He's like, man, I was coming home from school and motherfucker slit my throat. I'm like, man, shut the fuck up. I'm like, somebody slit your throat, you wouldn't be talking to me. Now, mind you, this is how friends talk to each other. Like, he's like, nah, man. Like, so back, this 95. So this is freshman year 95, not senior year 95. So now we're in college. So this is more of the fall of 95. So he's on the bus stop. He had the big herringbone chain. Oh. And a dude came up from behind him with a knife, put it up to his neck and was like, give me your shit. And you know us, instead of just giving the shit up, we like, man, fuck you. I ain't giving you shit. And so when he turned around to try to like get the guy, got him in the neck.
Wow, dude.
So, and to this day, he still got the scar. Like, everybody's always asking, like, what happened? So,
holy shit.
The crazy part is, this is St. Louis. This is just St. Louis, man. So we're sitting there. Well, he's sitting there. So he gets the dude to the ground. He's beating the dude's ass to the point when the cops get there, they grab my boy.
Right.
Because they think he's the one. And luckily, the witnesses are like, no. He's defending himself. That guy tried to rob him. Crazy thing is, while they're grabbing my boy, the guy gets away.
Oh my God, dude.
To this day, I always say karma's a bitch. Like, he probably kept doing shit like that and like no telling what happened to him. So my boy, now finally the cops are listening to the witnesses. They're like, no, it's him. And they see, his fucking throat slit. And so he said, man, the cop just kept telling him, like, don't go to sleep. Don't, because he's like, dude, I never wanted to go to sleep so bad because he had lost so much blood. But the adrenaline kept him going while he was beating the dude's ass.
Yeah, exactly.
But now everything's calm. He's like just sitting there like, fuck, I want to go to sleep. And the cops like, don't go to sleep, don't go to sleep. So they said he was like a centimeter from his jugular vein.
Wow.
Crazy shit. Like he's actually
survived, man.
Yeah, man, crazy, man. And like I'll never forget, I went to go see him. Like that's how we are, man. Like after that situation, I rode down to his house downtown. Like he was in the city at the time. I rode down there to see him, and I'm like, I'm seeing the stitches. I'm like, fuck, man, I'm sorry I wasn't there. Like, like that's just that. Like, not that I would have stopped the shit, but I felt like I should have been there.
Yeah.
And like he's like, nah, man, like nothing you could do. Like, it's a war wound now for him, but it's a story to help people. Like, and when I tell you, I had a rope chain, I had the matching bracelet. When I tell you I sold that shit for pennies for what it was worth the next day, I didn't give a fuck. Like, I was like, get rid of this shit. Like when people see me with diamond earrings, I'm like, oh, this shit is CZ, brother. This is cubic zirconia. I don't fucking rock shit. You rob me, you are practicing. I ain't got shit for you. Nothing. Not a damn thing. Like
Practicing.
I ain't got nothing for you, bro. Like because I just started looking at again, like I believe in, you learn your biggest lessons from your mistakes, but you can learn a lot from somebody else's mistakes too. And like,
absolutely.
The fact that he went through that, I was like, I'm done. Yeah. Okay, I'm good.
Yeah. I don't even need it.
I don't need that shit. I didn't need it. I'm like, fuck it. Like, I'm more now into like fucking stones and like, healing and meditation shit. I be rocking. And it's funny, like I don't have one on the day, but I'll rock like straight gems and like stuff like from African gems and this and that. And I'll get compliments just walking through the airport. People like, man, that is amazing. I'm like, yeah, and ain't nobody gonna rob me for it at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's supposed to bring good energy and this and that. And I'm like, and I see how people compliment me for it. I'm like, that's the good energy right there. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, man. I got So like I said, man, St. Louis, it definitely had a ton of lessons for me. But I was there for all of them, man.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing, and I wouldn't be so adamant about helping people if I hadn't lived through it myself.
Yeah. And how obese were you really? And how old were you? And how long was that time you were super overweight?
I was 13, freshman in high school. I was 315. And I was
God.
and I was about 5'8". I'm 6'6" now, but I was like, so it was obvious. But I was so athletic, man, that it was. I
Right.
surprised myself to this
He's
day.
just like, he's thick bone.
Yeah. That bullshit ass quote that black people thought of. Oh, he big boned
He
it.
big
Like,
boned.
ain't not one fat skeleton laying in a goddamn graveyard today. Like, we just.
Fat skeleton.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a fat skeleton. But we like to say that shit because it makes us feel better. Like,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm big boned it. No, you're not. You're just big. Like, there's
husky.
not, and I'm not a fat shamer because, like, I do believe, like, there's a lot of trauma that we've been put through that we honestly think, like, that's natural for us. But I always like to tell people, like, black and healthy is synonymous. Like, if you look at African culture before the Western world went back over there with their bullshit food and fried shit and this and that, you look at, fucking hieroglyphics and fucking... Where's the obese hieroglyphic? Like, where is it at? Like, I want to see it. It ain't there. The drawings, it ain't there. Like, we have become so comfortable with this pandemic. Like, that's a pandemic. Like, it is, man. Like, we've been so comfortable with it that now you can't even talk about it because it's like shaming. I'm like, no. There is such thing as fat shaming, but the delivery is the fat shaming. Like, if I tell you there's dangers with obesity, that's not fat shaming.
No.
If I say you fat motherfucker, there's dangers with being obese, that's fucking fat shaming, which I will never fucking do.
Point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I would never do it.
And you've been there.
I've been
Yeah,
there.
you've been
Yeah.
there.
And I think that's where a lot of people that don't know my whole story, they think I'm just this dude that's been in shape since I came out the womb. And like, I came out rocking a 6-pack. Like, nah, dude, this is a lot of work. I had to get it. And I've been in your shoes. And I tell people all the time, like, I didn't know how much pain I was in until I got out of pain. And I think a lot of times people don't realize that. They don't. You get so comfortable with pain sometimes.
True.
You just live through it.
Yeah.
Whether it's an abusive relationship with a person, with the food, with your job, with your environment,
So
with
true.
your parents. We become so comfortable with pain that we think that it's supposed to be like that. It's like, no, there's pain supposed to be in life. You know what I'm saying? If you put your hand over a fire, you're supposed to feel pain to tell you, hey, dumbass, get your hand off the fire.
Yep.
That pain's supposed to be there. But the trauma of everyday pain is not supposed to be there. And we got to get back to that, of understanding that. And that's why I'm so adamant about it. I'm like, yo, like, I see the pain in people's eyes. And I'm not just talking about obesity. I'm just talking about just in general.
In general, yeah.
It's like, we not supposed to be. People are like, man, you so happy. You can't be happy all the time. I'm like, fuck, I can't. I can't. Shit. I say, I'm always coming up with quotes. Like, and I'm sure they've been, influenced by somebody else's
No, I
words.
love your quotes, man. Yeah.
I don't like to take credit for everything. 'Cause I'm sure, like, the universe is always regenerating.
For
stuff,
sure.
Whatever. And I always say happiness is a practice art. You know what I'm saying? You don't wake up fucking happy. I don't wake up and the first thing I think is like, I'm fucking happy today. It's like,
Me
no,
either.
like, I have to keep practicing every day. Like, what am I grateful for? What could I have been in yesterday that was fucked up?
Totally.
All right, take that energy, move it into today. Like, it's a practice. I have to practice being happy every day. I have to practice not smacking the shit out of somebody to talk shit to me every day. You got to practice that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Control yourself. Yeah.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, people don't understand that. They think you just like, oh, he just naturally happy. It's like, no. Like, I have to hear you talking shit to me and go, you know what? Bless you. In the back of my head, I'm like, fuck you, your family, your dog, your fish, everybody.
Yeah.
And I love animals, but fuck all of y'all.
People see kindness as weakness a lot, and it's
Kindness
not.
is weakness. It's not. It takes a lot of strength not to act on impulse on everything that's coming towards you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm just a big advocate of, like, man, if we actually start looking at the fact that we are powerful as hell, because the industries that are at B right now, they make a killing off of making us think we aren't shit. And the only way to be shit is if you buy our shit.
And that we need them.
We need you, whether it's pharmaceuticals, the food, the clothes, the car, the house, shit. It's so many things. Like, they're like, look, yeah, you're okay. But if you buy our shit, guess what? Better. You know what I'm saying? Buy this fucking Pert Plus. Your hair is shit. But we can turn your hair into music if you buy our shit. Like, And it's just one. Sorry, Pert. I know y'all probably okay. But,
That's all good.
I don't use your shit anyways. But anyways, like,
They're big listeners too.
I know. We're like, well, we're done with that podcast.
That's our sponsor.
Yeah,
That's our sponsor.
That's a wrap.
You'll probably get a sponsorship out of it now. Like, wait, let's show them we're good people. But not, like, people are just they're so interested in understanding that we need this and that in order for us to be a good person. Like, no, if you understand that you're already powerful, you realize you don't need that shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The power is already in you. If you take off the fucking cloak that they put on top of you, another quote, sorry, but hey, I always say the best form of brainwashing is when you don't know what happened to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We've been brainwashed to think like, I got to eat this meat or I'm not a fucking man or I'm going to die in 5 seconds.
I need protein. Yeah.
I need my protein. Like the name of my speech used to be vegans aren't filling up the hospitals. Because it's fucking true. Like, if everybody thinks vegans are so sickly and we're the ones that are like dying off like every 5 seconds, why is the hospital industry so fucking wonderful and making bank? We only make up 3 to 5% of the population.
Yeah.
We ain't keeping them in business. I'm sorry. If all of us got sick today and went to the hospital, they'd still be making trillions off the rest of the people.
That's a good point.
Great point.
We're not doing
And
it.
it's facts.
Yeah.
It's facts. Like, it's just facts. It's just facts. You know, and people like, and again, I go back to, sorry, Toby, it's not a black or white thing, but I like to talk about people a lot of times.
It's all good.
D, you know what I'm saying here. You know what I'm saying.
No offense taken.
But
We love you, Toby.
Black,
we love
Thank you.
black is synonymous with health. At the end of the day, black is synonymous with health. We weren't fucking eating meat like they think we were. Like, let's just be honest. If you really think about it, they weren't out there with scopes and rifles and, powered crossbows. They're out there with fucking a javelin or a bow and arrow, a spear. You ain't got no fucking 100% success rate when you chasing down a goddamn gazelle. It's not. And you got to fucking worry about the lion that's trying to beat you to the same meal that probably is looking at you like, let's see, the human's actually a little slower than the fucking gazelle.
A little slower.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, somehow humans have manipulated their way to the top of the food chain. Like, bitch, really?
It's
like,
funny that you say that because my first time even going to Africa and being on a safari and just thinking, yo, if I was just thrown out here, I would be dead. Instantly.
Yeah.
Instantly. I felt it's harsh.
And
it's
then people try to come with the, well, what makes us the top of the food chain is because we can make tools. No, bitch. Like, if a lion was standing right next to you right now and you had to pull out your weapon, you're done.
It's a wrap.
You got to get to your weapon. Their weapon is literally made on their body. Well, we got canine teeth. I was like, when the last time you tried to rip meat off of a cow? Like, just if you think we're canines, if you think we got canine teeth, I challenge anybody right now to walk up to a cow, look at the right ass cheek, not the left one because the right one probably got more meat on it. Just I'm trying to help you out here. Bite that ass cheek and watch what happens to you. You are going to get your ass booted.
First and foremost. Yeah.
First and foremost, that cow is going to boot the shit out of you.
Cows like people.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But if you bite a cow, because first of all, you probably going to break a couple teeth. You're not ripping through that.
Yeah.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Not at all.
Second of all, people forget we can't digest hair. If you really think we're cannibals, why we got to pluck all the feathers? Why we got to take all the hair off? Why we got to take all the fur off? We're not cats. We don't cough up fur balls. We don't do that shit. So like,
true.
people, like, that's what I tell everybody. I'm not a scientist. I'm a realist. I just sit back and look at the real shit. I'm like, we can't fucking do that. And and people try to argue with the whole caveman thing. Like, oh man, the reason why our brains developed this way is because we were eating animal fat. I'm like, all right, well, our brains are fucked up. You haven't noticed that shit? Like, think about it. If that's the premise of your argument is that cavemen were eating meat and that's why our brains developed the way it was, all right, let's take that in consideration. I'm gonna take your whole premise in consideration. But listen to this. Think about it this way. If we have seen the power of somebody eating nothing but plants, the longevity of lifestyle, the quality of lifestyle, what if the dumbass cavemen who were also raping their own children and eating their own shit, as has been scientifically proven, where you're using your knowledge based off of this person who did that. And now, what if they derailed us from our actual evolution to where we're getting back to now by eating plants?
Yeah.
Think about it. You're also thinking about somebody that probably lived to be about 26. That was an elder at the time. You know, like 26 was the elder. That was who you were getting your knowledge from while he was eating his shit sandwich. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Like, think about it. Like, you got to think about everything. And then, like, if you really want to go with that whole, you know, keto caveman mentality, like, get off your cell phone, stop driving a car, you know, don't think about like how the lifestyle you have right now is influenced by technology and how you got clean water right now. You know what I'm saying? You didn't just have clean water at the time. You know, you might get bit by a fucking monster iguana back then coming out the water. Like, they don't think about all these different things. Like, we're amazing beings, but we stopped evolution while the rest of the world kept evolving. Right. You know, the human body is the first machine ever built. Point blank. Yeah. Everything we use now is to keep that human body from having to work as hard. That's why we ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? We take a car to go somewhere. We don't even walk. You tell somebody, I'm the same. Even me, as much as I'm into fitness, if a motherfucker told me, oh man, yeah, it's just 2 blocks that way. Okay, cool. I'm getting in my car. Yeah, it's crazy. 2 blocks. It's 2 fucking blocks. Yeah. We're so lazy, and it's hidden to our own selves. We don't even realize we'll spend 30 minutes looking for a remote when we could go to the TV and press the button. That's true. We're that fucking lazy. True, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We're that lazy, but we don't realize it. But technology, everything in technology was developed to assist us with not doing the work.
It's very interesting. Yeah.
Before telephones, you had to go see a motherfucker to talk to them. You know what I'm saying? Before television, to go see a play, you had to go to the play. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't just, even a treadmill. Like, people don't even realize how lazy that shit is. I love my treadmill. But it's like, oh, why would I go outside in the nature to go do this? Right. I'm gonna sit in my garage on this treadmill right now. So we got to get back to the understanding the power that we have and the things that we can do, because we can do so fucking much. And we stopped evolving, but now we're starting to see, you know, like, if the body scientifically has been proven to last 120 years, we do something every day to cut that number down. For sure. Every day. Every day we do something to cut that shit down. Yeah. Whether it's what we eat, the toxic environment we're in, the stress we put ourselves in, all that stuff, we cut it down day by day by day. So if 120 is what we're supposed to live to, midlife is not 40. You're supposed to still be able to run, do push-ups, jumping jacks at 60, 70 years old. Because I don't know about you, Toby, but I'm sure you've heard this growing up. There's a black quote that's called grown man strength. Like, I know dad strength. Yeah, dad strength. Dad strength. Right. Which, as a kid, I thought it was bullshit. No, but as a 44-year-old man, that shit is real. Like, I lift weights today that at 24, there's no way I would have even thought about trying to get. And we're crushing at 50, man.
That's true.
That's 50s, it's crazy. And I'm like, I get it now. When you see those statues of, like, these African gods and these Greek gods, and they got full hair and full beard. Absolutely. They're a fucking beast. That's because they were, at that age then, they were still beasts. They were still active. Yeah. You know, we've gotten so comfortable that we aren't living. We're just waiting to die at this point. That's what we're doing. We're just waiting to die. We're not living. We're waiting to die. Like, hope I don't die today. Like, no, go get that shit. Go live. Sorry, I talk a lot, y'all.
No, it's all good. But I do feel like not eating meat and being vegetarian and vegan since 1988, and you since probably 88. And being 50 years old, and the stuff we can still do. Oh, yeah.
No, there's no doubt about it. I mean, I think back to even cousins that I had, you know, and always meeting with my cousin in church. It was much older than I am, and he would just always be like, okay, let's get this handshake going. I'm like, oh my God, he's gonna crush my hand.
Yeah.
He was like, you'll never be the strongest for you. You know, I was like, oh my God, you know, like that
old man strength.
Yeah, man.
strength exists.
Yeah.
And it's a
Yeah.
good point that you made. When you look at all those like sculptures of like Greek people, and
They weren't young.
they weren't young at all.
They weren't 20s.
Yeah, and it's fascinating. You know, it's like, where are they getting
Yeah.
these sculpture ideas?
And even if you're not talking about gods, if you even talk about the actual warriors, you know what I'm saying?
no,
like,
that's what I'm.
they're
referring
fucking
to.
beard,
Yeah.
everything. They're all out. I mean, I can't grow a beard to save my life at this point, but I get it. I get it. You know what I'm saying? But like, yeah, like they weren't young. They
Yeah.
were like, those warriors lasted. They went through trials and tribulations to get to that point.
Yeah.
They were active every day. Now,
True.
they may not have been as chiseled as the artist was making them,
Yeah.
but I
I think
guarantee
there's a-
you,
right.
I guarantee you, motherfuckers today don't want to meet that motherfucker from back then.
right. And then I was even hearing or seeing in documentaries they talking about the gladiators' diet, you know. And it
Exactly.
wasn't
Yeah.
primarily meat. I mean, they weren't giving them prime cut.
Exactly.
No.
You think I'm gonna pay this warrior / slave because
Right.
most of the warriors
Were
were slaves.
slaves,
You
right.
think I'm giving them the best food out there? No, I'm giving them this fucking grain I was growing in the backyard that they grew themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's just how it is. I mean, but people, again, you gotta think realistically and not the brainwashing storytelling that's been told. Like, look at the facts. Look at even if you don't know the facts, just look at realistically
Right.
what
Yeah.
would have happened.
What was your inspiration to go vegan? Was it when you were
Yeah.
obese? Did that happen when you were younger or no?
Yeah. What
I
was
met
the
this
turnaround?
alien when I was at no.
It's like, ooh, you
Yeah.
lost this.
Like, what was the turning point from being obese to like?
Yeah. What was?
Well,
the
you know
turning
what?
point?
I before I even went vegan, I started losing the weight.
Okay.
How did
you know,
that happen?
well, because Little League basketball is literally some coach throwing out a couple balls and then he goes outside and talks to his wife. Like while you have practice. And Levi Wright, I love you to death, bro. I'm just making an example of this. Like I remember I literally remember my Little League coach. We're actually friends on Facebook today. Like,
Nice.
And his wife. So I'm just playing. But the intensity level just wasn't the same.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're in little leagues. You're not really
Yeah.
Right.
you're learning the fundamentals more than anything. And then when I got to high school, it was this shock.
Yeah.
Oh, we're doing two a days?
Yeah.
Wait, two
Yeah.
a days of running. Like we start off with a mile run before we even touch a ball. Like I signed up for basketball. I didn't sign up for track. Like
Yeah.
so I never played football. My mom wouldn't let me play football until high school.
Makes sense.
So
I can
I got
understand
the
that.
freshman year and she was like, if you want to play, go ahead.
Your coach was like, yes.
Yeah,
here,
right.
here.
They were like, yes, but they're like, this motherfucker doesn't know shit. I didn't know plays.
But
I
for a
didn't-
coach, that can be a dream.
Oh, it was a dream.
blessing.
Yeah.
It's
you
a
know?
blessing,
like,
but
oh,
like when they're calling stuff that these kids have been running since they were 2, they're like,
got it.
I could, which is crazy. My defensive coach, my freshman year, we ended up finding out that he literally was like molesting girls at our school. We found this out years later.
Oh man.
Damn.
Years later. But he used to like have these calls like Wolf Hot 50 grand. And I'm like, what the fuck is
Yeah.
And he had symbols like Wolf Hot, Snake Hot. And like
Right.
I'm not even exaggerating. Like I had to learn this shit. I'm like, what's a wolf and a snake and a
Right.
come to find out like each safety and cornerback had their own like name. So wolf, snake, cobra, all these different things, and that was who would be like rushing and who would.
Got you.
So I had to learn all this stuff, and then, but when basketball came, I was just natural. Like I literally, like my middle brother that played at the high school before me, he had a 70-point game in high school. Like my brother was a beast. Like
Yeah.
and he always said he knew I was gonna have a growth spurt at some point, but he grew me to be a point guard from day one, because he knew like a 6'6" point guard. Well, he didn't know I'd be 6'6", but he knew a tall ass point guard had an advantage.
Right.
I grew up on Magic Johnson. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
my mom loved the Lakers. To this day, I'm a Laker fan.
Wow.
Like LeBron or
Awesome.
not, like I love LeBron too, but
Right.
like I was a Laker fan before before that. Like when it
Okay.
was Magic and Kareem.
Yeah.
Cooper and Byron Scott, like, and all that. I was a fan back then.
Yeah.
So, going to high school, now I'm doing these 2-a-days, and I get to basketball. I'm like, we're running our asses off.
Yeah.
I don't even realize I'm losing this weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that summer after freshman year, I had a growth spurt too. So now I'm not losing the weight. I had a fucking growth spurt.
Yeah.
To the point when I saw my sophomore coach basketball, I saw my sophomore coach walking down the hallway. Excuse me. And I see him. I'm like, what's up, coach? And he looks at me like, he goes, oh, shit, John. And he got, like, excited. Like,
Yeah.
holy shit. Like, he was
Wow.
like, because I went from, like, 5'8" to 6'1", like,
Dang.
in a summer. I'm not even exaggerating.
Yeah.
Now, I was fucking around my freshman year and ended up being ineligible my first half of that season. So he was pissed at me for that, but he was still like,
Yeah.
wow. And that made me like really understand I had to keep my grades up to play ball.
Yeah.
Like I came into high school like, I'm the man. I can do what the fuck I want. They were like, hey, hell you can.
Right.
You ain't going to class? You got to sit your ass down. So I had to sit down my whole first part of my sophomore year.
Wow.
But that made me respect school more. Like,
Right.
and, you know, besides the time I cursed out the other coach, you know, that's, you know. We're not going to say, we've already been down that road. But yeah, like the activity level picked up.
Okay.
I didn't change the food.
Right.
Okay.
I didn't change anything. It was the activity level. Then after I graduated undergrad, I moved to Fort Lauderdale for grad school.
Okay.
And I finally got to my when I tell you I was in my last week of my graduate program. Hi, baby. I know. She is loving me. I love it. So I'm in my last week of my grad program, and my brother, the older brother, he just blowing me up. And I'm like, I'm in class, dude. I'm literally in my finals week. I'm like, come on, bro. Like, all right, stop calling me. But we're at break, and I go to check the messages. And now my oldest brother, like I told you my scenario, like, you know, he's really my uncle.
Okay.
But he's my brother. Like, never called him uncle to this day. Like, I give them credit, too, because they were put in a situation where they could have been like, I don't want this little kid. Like, I got to babysit him now. They were very, like, vocal and a part of my upbringing. And so if he ever called me son, I knew either I fucked up something or something's fucked up. And he's like, hey, son, I need you to call me back as soon as possible. I'm like, shit, now I'm in Fort Lauderdale at this point. And I'm like, damn, what's going on? So I call back. He's like, hey. I'm like, what's up, bro? What's going on? He's like, in my head, I'm like, what did I fuck up? Like,
Right.
did I break something? Did I fuck up something? Did I not pay something? Cool. He's like, yeah, man, I'm at the hospital with mom. We don't know what's going on. She can't keep any food down and this and that. Now, my attitude, I get it from her. Like, always happy, energetic, no matter what. You can't get me. That was a one time only in my life. I was like, Mom, how you doing? She's like, I feel like shit. And like, I'm thousands of miles away, dude.
Yeah.
That hit me in the chest, and I'm like, oh shit. Like, I was even if she was in pain, I was expecting a joke.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's just how she is. Like, I feel bad, but it's okay. But like, I felt the pain in her voice. I'm like, oh shit. So my brother's like, we'll call you back after she gets the test run. We'll find out what's going on. It ended up being colon cancer.
Wow.
Oh, man.
So she's still alive today. Thank you.
Wow.
Thankful
Okay.
and everything.
Awesome.
But that made me reflect, because I ended up talking to the doctor. I'm like, how did this happen? What the fuck is going on? He was like, fried fatty food, too much animal protein. And I'm like, wait. And I'm like, this is not hereditary? He's like, no, it's not hereditary. This is a lifestyle choice. And when he said that, I didn't go vegan immediately, but I was already vegetarian for like 2 years. Because when I moved to Fort Lauderdale, I was like, you know what, I'm going to try this vegetarian shit.
Nice.
And so, you know, the more research I did, I just started seeing it like it wasn't just cancer for the animal protein. And the milk and the dairy and the eggs was still animal protein.
Yeah.
But I started seeing the hypertension, the heart disease, the strokes, I'm like, wait a minute, like they not even hiding this shit. It's in plain day. Like, anybody can go look this up. This is before we had vegan websites to go get knowledge from. This is straight CDC, World Health Organization, other sites. And I'm like, you know what, man? I'm gonna go ahead and try this fucking vegan thing out. Not thinking anything about it. Like, it wasn't.
How old were you?
It was 44 now. Been about 15 years. So
Wow.
yeah, it's all a big blur for me. Sorry, I'm bad at math, y'all. At this
all
point,
good.
like, but y'all do the math. 44, 15, so like 29, I guess you could say, around the time. And So I didn't think nothing of it, man. And then like that's when I don't know if y'all remember the P90X workout.
Yeah. I do.
So if you ever want to laugh, if you go back and look at the commercials and shit.
That was you?
I'm all on that.
Wow, I remember we used to do that on tour, man. Try to, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So I actually did it. I did it for a year straight. I would do it for 3 months.
I did it for like one day. It was so hard. It's hard.
It's hard. It is hard, but it was like it was what I needed. You know what I'm saying? I had just had knee surgery.
Yeah.
And I was vegetarian right before I started it. Mm-hmm. So I was eating all the cakes and the cookies, and I'm sitting on the couch. Mm-hmm. Knee surgery.
Oh,
you know, like
God.
Before I looked up, I was back up to like 260 already again. Wow. I'm like, God damn it. Like, what just happened? And, you know, saw the program. Like, you know what? Let me try this. And so I had a friend who knew the owner, Carl Deichler. He was like, man, you should send your pictures in. I'm like, nah. Like, I could be sitting around, honestly, at whatever percent body fat, ripped up, and coming from that obese mindset, I don't care how good I do. I'm always like, it's body dysmorphia. I know it is, but I work my way through it. But I was like, nah, man, don't send that to him. I was like, I look horrible, dude. Like, no. So he sent them without me knowing to Derek. They hit me up like, hey, we love these pictures. You got any more? And I'm like, yeah, like, fuck it, let's go. So when people found out I was vegan, though, because once I started the P90X, I was vegan. Yeah. And then I didn't realize that it was like this big niche of people like, wait, you can be vegan and be in shape? And I'm like, yeah, you can. Like, I didn't think nothing of it. And so I just started really looking at it, and that's where Badass Vegan came from. I was doing half marathons at the time, and I was out, and I was like, you know what, man, it's time for me to start my own thing. Mm-hmm. I was like, I'm putting so much work into like just trying to help people and hold a 9 to 5. Like I was literally like burning at both ends, man. Yeah, so I was on a run, and like literally the first name that popped in my head was Badass Vegan. I went back. This is 2010 though. 2010 is when I started the company. I went back, got home, went to GoDaddy. Badass Vegan was available. Bought it right there. Nice. That Monday I incorporated it. Wow. And like didn't have a business plan. And I got, for everybody out there trying to start your own business, don't worry about all the like nuances that people try to tell you. I still don't have a business plan. It's been 14 years. I still don't have one. Fuck it. Just do you at this point. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes we set ourselves back so much because everything got to be perfect. Yeah. It's never going to be perfect. Mm-hmm. Even when you got the perfect plan, it's not going to go to plan. You know, so I went ahead and just started, and then that's when things just started like trickling out, like really, really started going. I was like, man, what if I can like get people to like really worry about like, or not worry about, but focus on social justice, social health, animal rights, the economy. Like, what if I get everybody to just see it's all one thing, and it all stems from loving yourself? If I tell people all the time, when I sign off my videos now, I always say, I want to leave you with this: love yourself. If you encompass yourself with love, then you can actually receive love from other people. If you full of hate and you pissed off, we've all been there where we've been pissed off, and somebody that loves you is trying to give you love, and that actually irritates you more. Totally. You know what I'm saying? You're like, get the fuck away from me. I want to be pissed right now. Yeah. And they're trying to love you, and you can't see that. It's more of a nagging thing to you. So that's why I tell people, like, once you just embrace love and you're all about love, not only can you receive it, but now you can give it out. Totally. You know what I'm saying? Like, your world changes. And I'm not saying you're never going to have a bad day. You're not. You still going to have bad days. Like, that's just fucking nature. But those bad days just don't have the same effect on you if your whole being is full of hate. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you're pissed at the world, you're full of hate, everything adds to that. We are magnetic creatures. Everything adds to what we're already feeling. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I agree. If I'm full of love and I got a troll on my page talking about I ain't shit, I'm like, man, like I used to have this thing where I used to love to fuck with trolls. I kind of just don't do it anymore, but like I've seen you, I think. Yeah, like somebody would come on my page and they're like, fuck you. I'm like, oh my God, you took time out of your day to come say hi to me? Like, wow, dude. Like, fuck yeah. And they're like, and so like.
They just want your attention anyway. It's fucking, that's all they want.
Yeah, and then that pisses them off even more.
Kill them with kindness. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they're like, no, fuck you for real. I'm like, no, oh my God, you commented twice in one day. Hey, dude.
No, it drives them crazy.
You keep this shit up, we gonna be besties. I'm telling you, man. You keep this shit up. Like, and it used to piss them the fuck off. But, and I learned this quote long time ago. It said, energy cannot be destroyed or created. It can only be transferred from one entity to the next. Mm-hmm. So when somebody try to come with you with negative energy and you don't take that shit, ever trip off this. If somebody tries to come with you with negative energy and you don't take it from them, what happens with them? They get more fucking pissed.
Totally, man.
But if you take that negative energy and now you're upset, they're relieved.
Yeah.
Right.
They got rid of that negative shit. It's on you. They're
Pass
happy.
it to you, yeah.
They're happy as fuck. I'm like, no, dude, I don't have to take your negative shit. You keep that shit.
Yeah.
You find somebody that'll take it from me,
Right.
because I'm not taking it. And it took me a long time to get there. But I'm telling you, man, your world changes. It just completely changes once you do that. And that's what I've been, luckily, for like 12 years. That's just been my mission. Like positivity, spread love.
And that's infectious, man, positivity.
Yeah, man. It is, man. Just like everything. Like your negative shit is infectious. Your positive shit is infectious.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and people with kids, I'm like, yo, they see you.
Oh, yeah.
They see you.
Yeah.
You can act happy in front of them.
They know.
They know it's an act.
Yeah.
They know it.
It's so true.
My daughter to this day, if I'm not in my right mind, she'll just come and hug me. Like, but she hugs me anyway, but I know the different hugs. Like, she can see it. Like, she's like, oh, Poppy. And she'll hug me, and I'm like, damn, I'm showing. All right, let me get out this mind frame. Like,
there's no hiding.
You can't, man. Yeah. You can't.
And so what was and so when you graduated from college, correct?
Yeah.
And what was your goals then? Like, what was your mission?
Make dollars. That's all. It was, you know what I'm saying? Like, I admittedly tell people, like, you know, I was all about, like, all right, man, I come from the hood, man. I want to make money, and like, and like, it was almost like, how fast can I get it? What can I do? You know, that's where the basketball came from when I thought I was going overseas. Like, let's go. Let's do it with my passion. Let's go. Like, that's my love. That was my first love. You know what I'm saying? Was that basketball. Let's go. And then I just started taking a step back, man. I was like, man, the money will come, man. Like I said, like this been 20 years in the making, man. What I'm doing right now, like with the film, with the book, with the programs, and the sub
motivational speaking, all that stuff.
The speaking and all that. Like my mom, you ever heard of Toastmasters?
No.
So Toastmasters is this like national circuit. I think they're actually worldwide, but it's this national circuit of speech givers.
Okay.
And they hold tournaments. They got Hall of Fames. My mom was a part of that.
Okay.
She would literally make me give her speeches at like 5 years old.
Wow.
So like,
speaking,
and we laugh about this shit today. My mom's 84 years old, and I'm like, man, that's so funny. All the shit you used to make me do that I was like, why the fuck am I doing this? Now I'm like, oh shit, I get it. Mm-hmm. I knew how to type 70 words a minute at 7 years old.
Oh my,
wow,
that's incredible.
And she taught me on a typewriter. There was no computer.
Right.
No.
But my mom was a data analyst she started off at Bell South. They transferred her to St. Louis. So that's why we moved from Arkansas to Missouri, because she got transferred for the job, which was Southwest and Bell, but they were all the same, like Pac Bell, I think it was out here.
Pac Bell, yeah.
So they were all the same umbrella. They just gave them different like names. Okay. So she would like make me learn. I learned on a typewriter. So if I fucked up, there was no delete.
Right.
Dang.
Take that paper out, start again. And, you know, like, so all these things that she taught me, like today is just nothing. Like when I get in front of a crowd of thousands of people, I'm like, all right, cool, let's go. It's so weird. And then, you know, playing basketball too, like, you know, basketball is one of those sports, which most sports are. You don't realize, like, you can't hide when you're on the court or the field or whatever. Like, you shoot an air ball, everybody see that shit. Like, you can't take off your jersey and put on somebody else's. Like, no, that wasn't my number. That was somebody else. That's you. That's you. You took that. So, like, I think that made me more comfortable when I got on front of the stage. Like, and I'm always to the point too, like, I have friends that are like, man, I want to do it, but I don't know how to get out there and talk. And I'm like, remember this. It's almost like, unlike you all, I'm fortunate to where nobody knows my song. They don't know my speech. If I fuck up, who knows I fucked up?
Yeah, that's true.
Me. I just keep going. I stumbled on something, like, all right, fuck it, I'll come back to it. nobody has a clue. Now your songs, you get one lyric wrong, they like, what the fuck is that doing? Like, what is
and
this?
it's happened too, for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
But at the same time, I guarantee you were like, fuck it, let's keep going.
100%.
And you gotta have that mentality up there, like, you came to hear me. Not in a cocky way, not in a braggadocious way, but you came to hear me. So I'm going to get the message across. It may be a little jumbled. And you know what? I mean, you got a unique experience from the other people. There.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
True.
So I started doing that, and then that's what led into the film. Like, my co-director, Keegan, he actually was like, you know, man, I'd love to do a movie with you. You know, I see what you do. Like
Keegan's What the Health, correct?
Yeah, he did What the Health and Cowspiracy. Yeah, and he did Running for Good too.
Okay.
And he's got another one after ours that should be releasing. That's executive produced by Joaquin Phoenix. That's
wow.
It's called The End of Medicine. I got to see it, man. Whew,
wow.
Shit. Like, I love the film we did together.
Right. Yeah.
This motherfucker here, man. It's wow. Like, and it's not necessarily based in America per se, but it's kind of more based in like Europe, but it trickles over into America. But it's just showing like medicine, like the industry and how fucked it. They're all kind of tied in together. If you look at like a lot of the documentaries, they are tied in.
Totally, yeah.
But yeah, he did Cowspiracy, What the Health.
And yours is Hungry for Justice. And when's that coming out?
We changed it.
You changed the name? Oh, dang.
What's the name? What's the name? Oh yeah.
Oh, they're trying to kill us. That's right. That's right.
So now it's they're trying to kill us. And so, but that was always the premise.
Okay.
That was always the premise.
Okay.
Right.
We just didn't want a lot of people to know what we were doing.
I got to get one of those hats.
Yeah, the hat's dope.
Because people don't know you turned around your hat. Now we can.
Yeah. Well, you know what's so funny? Like, I wear this hat everywhere. I'm in the grocery store. I'm picking up my kid. Like, she's at gymnastic practice. I'm picking up my kid with the hat. Like, I was getting off the plane today, and the stewardess goes, "I love that hat." And I was like,
it can mean so many things.
It does. It really
so many
people
things.
You can't deny it. No matter what the fuck is going on, it's like it's what it is.
Government, pharmaceuticals, everything, man.
Everything, man. The government, it's just all in there. And so,
are you selling those hats online?
Yeah, I know.
We had it as a part of the like the Indiegogo to support the film. We're gonna do it again. Yeah, but that was just one of the things to like get it out there. And
so they're trying to kill us.
They're trying to kill us. Yeah, and so crazy. I can't even announce who the executive producers are, but we got a great tandem of executive producers that's gonna fuck up a lot of people.
That's awesome. And when's it gonna come out? This year?
Well, we're shopping it around right now. Our agent just started shopping it around, and we've been getting word that it's like there's some people that are loving it.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Like our goal is like, you know, to have it out like Juneteenth, you know, for the Juneteenth.
Yep.
But we don't have really control over it. But
does that frustrate you? Just
I mean, it's not frustrating because it took us 4 years to make the film.
Okay.
It's kind of like, what's another couple months?
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
You know what I'm saying? She is on it.
I like how you're saying like people like, and you were saying we talked about before, like rap artists are people that are concerned about the cars and the jewelry, but then eat at McDonald's and they're kind of killing themselves eating that kind of food, right?
Yeah. And it's like, and I tell this to people all the time, I'm like, so Styles P.
Love Styles P. Got
That's
the
my
juice
boy,
spots
man.
in New York too.
Yeah, that's my boy. So we were speaking at an event together. This is before the movie. Like, we've been boys for a minute.
Underrated rapper too. Underrated, man.
Oh, dude, amazing. The dude
Locks.
is a beast. So this lady stopped us at the event. It was a women's conference in New York City.
Wow.
And you know, we're walking around, me and him and his wife, and we're just walking. The lady stopped us. She was like, "Oh man, I know y'all are vegan, and like, I want to do this and this and that." And like, I'm big on always giving credit where it's due. Cause I don't ever want to steal somebody's quote.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't want anybody accusing me of that. Like, and what he said to her, he got her. It was like the best reverse psychology in the world. He was like, "Oh, okay, sister. You know, like, that's great." He said, "Man, that shirt, that's dope. Where'd you get that?" And she's like, "Oh, I got this, you know, on the shop in like on 5th and this and that." He was like, "Man," and he's like, "I see you, those shoes." Like, she's like, "Oh yeah, I was actually in Italy and I got these and like, you know, blah blah blah." And like, "Oh man, like that's crazy." And then he goes through a whole outfit.
Oh
He said, damn, ain't that amazing how you know where everything came from that you wearing, but you don't know where the fuck your food come from?
Damn.
Wow.
And like he hit her, and like in my head, my mental consciousness goes, damn, but I didn't say it out loud. Like I was like, damn,
That's sick. That's amazing.
but I was like, he got you,
Yeah.
you know.
Wow.
But it's true. Like so many people know where their phone came from. They know where their car came from. They know where the designer shoes they came from. They don't know where a fucking clue where the damn food came from.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? All the shit that was injected in it, all the shit that was put in it, all the shit that they claim is natural. You know, like I just made a post the other day. I had to take it down because Instagram was like jacked up yesterday or something.
It was weird
Oh, yeah,
yesterday.
It was weird
Yeah.
yesterday,
It
but
was.
it was about these people injecting stuff into the chicken. And while they can still say it's, you know, grass-fed, free range, no antibiotics or steroids, but in the list of ingredients that they put in it to fatten the chicken up, it's soy, it's gluten, it's all these other things. So all these people that have like one of them was like beef stock too.
Yeah,
Right.
So I'm like, okay, so you think you are eating this white meat, but you might be allergic to soy. You might have a gluten intolerance, and you don't want to eat red meat.
Yeah.
So all this
Right.
shit that you think you getting,
You're getting it.
you're getting it.
Yeah.
So,
It's
you know,
crazy,
that
man.
was just something like, but we don't think about that. And, you know, I get a lot of people that it's so funny. I always ask, my speeches are all about Q&A. I don't want nobody to sit and hear a lecture of me.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
I love
fucking
that.
boring. Like, ask me the question. I'm going to answer each one of y'all directly. But it always happens where people are nervous. They don't want to ask the question. So
In front of the
afterwards,
crowd, yeah.
I had a lady. In fact, I take it back. She actually got there late, so she missed my speech. And she was like, "I'm so sorry. I came to hear you speak." She's like, "I've had cancer twice." She said the first time, you know, I had the radiation. The doctor, you know, he put me back on. You know, he wanted me to eat more meat, get my protein up. I'm like, you know, I'm letting her finish her story. I'm like, "Oh man, that's crazy." And like, she's like, "Yeah." And then the second time I had it, you know, we went through the surgery, went through radiation. He still wanted me to eat more meat. And she's like, "I'm just so scared to leave my kids." You know, like I you know, and I feel that shit. You know,
Yeah.
before I even had kids, I always had a soft spot for kids. And you know, we started bonding. It was a great conversation, and I like to hear people's story because I tell everybody you gotta actively listen. For people that are activists and they want to like get a message across, I'm like, you gotta actively listen to people.
That's a good point.
If somebody
100%.
comes to you and they're like, you know, I want to be vegan for my health, and you start going, well, you know, the animals are getting fucked up over there. You lost them.
Right.
You
100%.
lost
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
Now you can get to the animals eventually, but you gotta listen. You gotta help them out,
Yeah, man.
and then they'll see the bigger picture later on. I started off for health reasons, but now
Right.
don't come to me about no animal shit because I'm gonna be like, no, fuck that. I'm not supporting that. I'm not doing that. I'm not
Yeah.
riding a horse. I'm not riding no camel. I'm not doing none of this shit. I'm not swimming with the dolphins.
Right.
I'm not doing none of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but
Word.
beforehand, I didn't have a clue,
Yeah.
but I had to get there. So, you know, we go through the whole thing, and she was like, what's your advice for me? And the only reason why I say I was able to talk to her like this was an event in Charlotte, North Carolina. And the only reason why I was able to talk to her is because I actively listened to her.
Yeah.
And I heard everything she had to say about her kids, her health. And I said, well, you know, it just comes down to, you know, who's your best friend really? She's like, who's your best friend? And because she was like, I want to go vegan. I'm just so scared. And I'm like, well, I mean, you tried all the other stuff out. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
Right.
And she's like, yeah, I know, but I'm just so scared. I was like, okay, well, who's your best friend? She goes, well, it's you know, my friend, blah blah blah. I'm like, okay. Are they good with kids? She's like, yeah, they're pretty good with kids. I was like, okay, cool. So have you decided who you want your kids to live with? And she's like, what do you mean? I was like, well, if you don't want to change and you already are scared, you already said that if you keep down this path, you're not gonna make it.
Damn.
Who you want your kids to go with? And she started tearing up immediately.
Wow.
And she's like, thank you. She's like, I never looked at it like that. I was like, yeah. Because
great
if
point, man.
you said that you know what the doctor's telling you is not going to fucking work, and you know it's going to kill you, but you're scared to change that, what plans have you made?
I know, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I only talked to her like that because we had a 20-minute conversation and I actively listened to what her trauma was, what was going to help her change. Now, if she would have been talking about, I got cancer, this and that, and I would have been like, do you know what fucking happens to cows when they get milked?
Right.
She was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Man, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So I think we got to actively listen, man. And that goes with anything, any relationship you're in. Like,
I agree.
whether you're trying to help somebody that's a friend, somebody else online. Like, I'd never go to somebody else's page and like, if we all do. We work in an industry where everybody's not fucking vegan.
100%.
We got friends that are not fucking vegan.
100%.
I'm not going to their page like, what the fuck are you posting that meat for?
I know, man.
Like,
Man.
oh, you fucking asshole. I get so many people that send me other people's posts.
Right.
Stop sending me that shit.
Yeah,
I'm not going
I
to
saw your
comment
post about the other day.
Yeah.
You said, stop tagging me and shit. It's nothing to do with me.
Just stop tagging me and shit that has shit to do with me.
So true.
Nothing. And then like on the other side, there's a lot of people trying to get clout too. And that's why they tag you. So when people go to your tagged photos, they're like, oh, Toby's in a part of this? Like Toby has nothing to do with this organic cocaine field out here. You know, whatever the fuck it is. Like, you're like, dude, I have nothing to do with that.
I get tagged in vegan stuff all day and different pages and stuff all day,
Right,
man.
right.
And then they're hoping that the people that your tribe, because I hate to say followers, they hope that your tribe see your tagged photos and then they get some clout out of it. So I'm going to put it out there. People that tag me in shit that I'm not a part of, I have a little secret that I do. I hide your tags. So nobody can see the shit but you and me.
Wow.
Ta-da.
That's clever. I'm going to do that shit. That's pretty good.
And this is what, and the reason why I do that is because, all right, if you're going to tag me in it, all your followers in your tribe are going to see me tagged in it, and they're going to click on it. But the people on my page, they're not. So you're actually losing on that sense.
Wow.
Stop tagging people. I've never did a shout for shout or, you know, like, hey man, if you shout me out, I'll shout you out, or a follow for follow. Like
people ask me in the DMs all the time. Messages
God,
like that.
Like I get it, man. Social media can be like this platform to build, but build it organically.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, shit, the three of us linked up through social media.
Totally.
True.
But it wasn't because I was like, hey, bro, you want to do
It happened
shout for
very
shout?
naturally.
No,
You
man.
know, like,
And he came to my show. That was so cool, man.
yeah.
That was
Oh,
amazing.
shit, I have a
Came to
damn
my show in
blast.
Orange County.
He didn't even know I was there. He didn't even know I was there. That's
crazy.
funny.
I
I come
know.
backstage afterwards. He was like, you fucking came.
I apprate that. That was
Your
awesome,
son
man.
was there.
Yeah,
Like,
man.
your son, like, he went like crowd surfing too
Yeah,
that night.
yeah.
Yeah, like it was so crazy. I was like,
Was that like your first punk
that was
show?
my first one.
Wow.
That was my
Shit.
first one. Probably my only one, but it was my first one.
And my last one.
No, I'll definitely do that shit again.
You were out
but-
there for some expo or something, right? You in Orange
Yeah, I
County?
was there for Expo West at the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, man, I got time. I'll come through.
It was awesome.
He's like, no, for real, come through. I'm like, dude, I'm coming. Like,
was
if I
awesome.
say I'm coming, I'm coming.
Right.
That was
And,
great.
no, I had a blast, man. But like, you know, like I think that people need to just kind of like have an impact and live by example. Like
100%.
social media is dope, but I love when people send my page off to somebody like, hey, go look at this dude, badass vegan.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But to them, I'm a mythical creature that took steroids in order for me to be in shape. You know what I'm saying? For the record, I've never taken steroids. I will never take steroids. I was born a crackhead. I don't need any more drugs. I'm good. So that's always been my thing. Like, I don't want to go down that road because if I start, I have a very addictive personality. I don't even want to start that.
Yeah.
But for people that don't know me, they see that, and I get it. They're like, dude, they didn't do that for real, or he's cheating, or he had meat, or something, whatever it is. So if you want to change the people around you, you got to be the example.
Lead by example, man.
You got to be the
believe
happy,
that.
healthy, energetic, loving, compassionate, empathetic person that you want them to be.
100%.
You
man.
can't be the hateful, fucked up asshole and then be like, why aren't y'all more loving?
Right.
Yeah.
You see that shit daily.
Yeah. It's who you surround yourself with, man. People lift you up. You know what I mean? Positive
man.
people. It's really important, man. Especially in these times.
Yeah, and for anybody listening, don't be afraid to get away from energy suckers. Like, I don't give a fuck if it's your mom. I don't give a fuck if it's your mom, your significant other, Like, talk it out if you want to.
Right.
But if you see they not going to change after the 50th talk, it's your fault.
Yeah.
It's your fault that you're still there and they're basically not treating you like you are a benefit to their life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to be okay with stepping away. We got to. Like, a lot of times we're like, man, I'm not
energy suckers.
What's that?
People that suck the energy out of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, dude. I am, and I wish some of my people were here right now to tell you, but any of my close friends, they will tell you, I will drop a motherfucker in 5 seconds. I could have grew up with you. You could be literally blood. Like, my blood mother who had me, and it's not because of what happened at birth and all that stuff and trying to sell me. We had a relationship growing up. We did. But it's shit she did later on in life. I haven't talked to her in probably 10 years.
Wow.
And I don't, and this is the thing too, when you separate from them people, you don't do it out of malice and hate and revenge. It's like, no, I just can't have you in my life.
Right.
Yeah,
Like,
man.
people think cancer is only inside the body. The cancer can be on the outside too. And it's stress will kill you faster than the food.
Yeah.
If you stressed out with the person you supposed to be loving, whether it's a family or friend, that shit's gonna kill you.
Agreed.
And you not living life. And I man, it's been times literally I'll just meet somebody. And I'm like, man, it was nice meeting you.
Right.
They're like, hey, can I get your number? Nah, I don't think that's a good idea. No, that's, it's cool. That's, if I don't feel the energy,
Yeah.
I'm good, man. Like, both of y'all, when we met, energy, boom,
Totally.
bam, let's go. Hey, what we gonna do today? Hey, man, I hope I got time to catch up with y'all.
Yeah.
It's just been crazy, but
Instant connect. Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Instant connect. Energy. Like,
Yeah.
people ignore it so much. They ignore the energy around them
Or
because
they become numb to it as well. Or,
Yeah.
like you're saying, people end up getting into these cycles where it's hard for them to get out of. You know,
Yeah.
they're just
Trapped.
stuck in
I
it.
think with this age too, which was a part of every age, but I think social media has really made it a part of that. People are afraid to be the bad guy. Like, we all the bad guy in somebody's story.
Totally.
You are.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
give a fuck how good you try to be. The Dalai Lama is a dick to somebody. Somebody thinks Dalai Lama is a dick. Like, sorry. Like, it's flat out.
True.
Somebody does.
Yeah.
Like, literally.
Right.
I've had vegans that'll be like, it'd be cool if he was a vegan. Like, I'm like, I just said he had a great fucking quote. He just saved 800 lives. Be cool if he was vegan, though. Like, dude, like,
It's never enough, man.
it's
Yeah.
never enough. So you got to take care of you, man. Like, at the end of the day, you got to take care of you. Yes, bless the world. Yes, do as least amount of harm as you can. But if you're doing the least amount of harm you can, but you're still fucked up,
Yeah.
your work is not going to be as impactful as you think it's going to be. And so we got to take care of ourselves, man. We got to.
Yeah.
You know, people like, oh, it's my life, it's this and that. It's like, no. Even if you don't have kids yourself, if you got a niece, a nephew, a kid down the street
Right.
that looks up to you, you got a responsibility. You might not want it. You might not ask for it, but you got it.
Yeah.
And they looking at you. Because they think about how we grew up. It's not the same as much today, but it's still there. Everybody in our neighborhood, we all had that older kid. We were like, that's him or that's her. That's, I want to be that cool.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't even think about it. Even if it was a actual adult, we're like, oh, man, Mr. James over there is cool as hell, man.
Yeah.
I want to be like him. Or Mr. James is a fucking asshole, and I hope my ball doesn't end up in his damn yard because he's going to take a knife and fucking
Right.
let all the air out and
Exactly.
then throw it back to me with the knife in it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
we all see that. We all got a responsibility. They
For sure.
all see what we doing, and we just got a responsibility, man, to do better.
Totally. And that's your whole mission with the movie and everything, right? Correct?
Yeah, man. Like, my main goal of the movie is empowerment. I want people to understand that they possess the power to be great.
Yeah.
No matter what the industry tells you, no matter what the government tells you, no matter what your parents told you, because there's a lot of parents out there telling their people that they ain't shit. Let's be honest. It's a lot of parents is crushing dreams.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Don't do this. You know how many motherfuckers told me I was crazy for like, oh man, I'm gonna start a company on compassion. fuck is wrong with you? like think about that. That's how crazy of a world we live in. That if you say, man, I want to start a company on compassion and love, why would you do that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be okay with, like I said, you got to take care of you first.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's so many people out there not living their passion. So many.
I agree.
Right.
So many.
Yeah.
Like, I did it. I was there, but I would always say, even when I had other jobs, I worked on my passion at night. And when I got out there work, I kind of admit it. I hate to admit it. I was at the job working on my passion.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna use your internet and your printer today. Thank you. I
Totally.
appreciate it. Like, it was to the point, my last job before I went 100% into Badass Vegan, I had already started it, the LLC, and my actual like supervisor, like top supervisor, I'm walking around handing out flyers for Badass Vegan to everybody, right? At their desk and everything. He's like, he calls me to the office. He's like, John, what the fuck is this? I was like, oh, man. And like in my head, I'm like, yeah, dude, you knew about this. Badass Vegan. I told you about my company. He's like, but you're passing out flyers. I was like, oh, you didn't get one? And it clicked that like he didn't approve, but I wasn't going to let him get me. Like, I was still like, nah, man, you knew I was doing this. Like, yeah, it's cool. I was like, I didn't print this at work. I printed it. I paid for it. I had them made. I brought it to you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's whatever. You're not going to stop this goal. Like, when I leave here, I'm going right back to my passion. Now, you can support it or you can tell me to stop, but I guarantee you, I'm still going to let everybody know everything I'm doing, everything that's going on. It's cool, but I'm going to give you 100% when I'm here. When I leave, I have to do that. So I always say the quote, don't quit your day job. It didn't mean that you sucked at your actual passion. It meant keep your day job until your passion pays off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think people miss that. Like, don't quit your day job.
Right.
Yeah, okay, don't. Like, don't fucking go broke. And like, I don't want y'all to, that's how to be. Yeah,
No.
I don't want people to hear this and be like, yeah, Badass Vegan told me to quit my job and fuck everything. No. I'm telling you, work your passion no matter what. It's going to be sometimes you're going to have to stay up till midnight, 2, 3 in the morning. Fuck it.
Yeah.
You got to do that until you get to that point.
Yeah.
And your passion, I always tell people, your passion, you'll know your passion when you realize that there may not ever come a day where it'll pay off. And you'll still fucking do it.
Right.
True.
That's your passion. Like
So true.
music.
Yeah.
If you never got a payday, you would still fucking be doing that.
Hell yeah,
You want the payday, but like
100%, man.
you'll still do it.
Yeah.
Like health, fitness, compassion, loving people, making people empower themselves. That's my fucking passion. Like, I get a thrill out of somebody like, yo, man, I watched your video and that shit just changed my life. And I'm quick to tell people like, I didn't change shit. You did the work.
Yeah.
I just reminded you that you could do it. Like,
Right.
I don't
I love
want
that.
the credit for the shit.
Right.
I just want you to realize you got this shit.
Yeah.
And that's what the film is. Like, I want you to realize it's always been there. It's just people steered you away from your true self.
Yeah.
And once
I
you're
love
happy
that.
and healthy, you can be broke as fuck and be happy and healthy.
Right.
I tell people all the time, I lived out of my car for a year
Wow.
and I was happy as fuck. I had a gym membership. I had a shower in the gym. I
Damn.
kept going to the gym. Fuck it. I'm good.
Yeah.
You know, so I just want people to be empowered more than anything.
Yeah, I love that. I
It's-
feel like all your posts and everything you do is like, I like your vegan approach too. It's lead by example
Yeah.
and inspire people.
Yeah.
It's not preachy. It's not shoving shit down your throat.
Nah.
None of that way.
And I'm real about it. I'm like, yo, dude, I done some fucked up shit. And I want you to know I did fucked up shit so you can understand you can change too.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I was a butcher. I was literally a butcher. My best friend, the
Wow.
one that got his throat slit, he got me the job there.
Wow.
We were butchers together, and we're both vegans right now.
Wow, man.
In fact,
That's fucking
I'll
amazing.
put it out there. We actually started we're getting everything together by the first of the year. We started a company called the 40-Year-Old Vegans.
Nice.
And it's like, we're going to do
I love
podcast. Yeah, like funny
That's smart.
podcasts.
Nobody's done that before, man.
Yeah. So we're doing that, and like, but we were there. We grew
Yeah.
up in the hood. I was a butcher. My family owns the #1 barbecue restaurant chain in all of Arkansas and Tennessee.
Wow.
I done it. I sold drugs. What else? What you want to do? Only thing I ain't done is murdered somebody. You know what I'm saying? But I done every fucked up thing you could think of.
Wow.
But I came full circle.
Yeah, it's inspiring. It's amazing.
Everybody can. I think a lot of times people think I've gone so bad for so long, I can't make up for what I did. And it's like you can't. You can't make up for what you did, but you can damn sure go forward and make sure you never do that shit again.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
I love that, man.
You can't make up for what you did. Like some of us did some fucked up shit.
Yeah.
I was a playboy. I did a lot of shit, man.
You
know what I'm saying?
Do
Like,
you have any regrets?
yeah. You said, do I have any regrets?
Yeah.
Not really, man.
That's awesome.
Like, if I ever hurt somebody, I didn't want to do that. But me hurting them then kept me from hurting tens of thousands later.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
like,
true.
I if anybody's listening to this and they see that, or they see what I'm doing now, and they're like, that motherfucker, when I knew him, he did this. I'm sorry. But I can promise you that what I did to you, I'll never do it to somebody else again.
Yeah.
Whether it was me fighting in the streets, whether it was me just being a fucking man, dog, asshole,
Yeah.
or me just being I used to be an asshole. Like, I've still got it in me. Like, I could be an asshole from time to time. It's like my best friend again, he'll tell you. I used to have the saying it. My saying was, I don't give a fuck. Like, literally him, and we're literally like yin and yang. He's the darker side of me.
Okay.
And every time now and then he'll be like, bro, you can't do that. And I'm like, man, I don't give a fuck. Like, that was my motto. Like, literally, I don't give a fuck. And he's like, yeah, you should probably give a fuck. Like, that's not good.
Wow.
But yeah, man, like I don't have any regrets, man. Whether it's me cursing out my fucking coach and losing it.
Yeah.
Whether it's me selling pounds of weed to the point where I forgot I was riding my mother around with me and dropped her off at home and go to clean out my trunk and I find like 3 pounds in my trunk. Like,
Wow.
oh shit. Like, yeah, I should have not been doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, all that. Like, all that, like, is what it was, man. Like, I felt the darkness had to take me to where I needed to be.
Yeah.
I had to have an edge. I had to. And then, so crazy, I was just in Tulum for my birthday. I did like this meditation. I was like, you know, I wanted to wait till 45, but I was like, I kind of feel 44 is like it. I need to go do this. And I met up with the shaman over there, and I did like this, you know, this what does he call it? I'm sorry. Hypnotic kind of like ritual.
Yeah.
And he was like, I want you to go in thinking, what are you going to ask, you know, as you go in? What do you want to find out? What do you want to find out? And this is crazy. Like this, I was a non-believer before this shit, like hypnosis and ritual, not rituals, because I believe in it. I just never would do it. And I guess when you get older, you just kind of, fuck it, you know, let's go. And I always feel like I got these demons in me. Like I've put them at bay, but I always feel like there's some more that I can get rid of. So that was like one of my biggest things going in. And like, you don't tell the shaman what you're, because it's for you. So that was one of my things. So the funny thing is, as you're going into it, you're thinking like truth, love, release. Like it's like these 3 words you keep saying to yourself to kind of get in the mode. And I'm going through it, and I'm sitting there for a minute. I'm like, I don't think this shit's working. Like, excuse me. Like literally, I'm kind of like, because you're laying down. You're like in if you know yoga, a shavasana corpse. So you're like just sitting there like in this like relaxed state, and I'm like, I don't think this shit's working. Then I realized I've been saying that for 20 minutes. I was out and I came back.
Whoa.
And I'm like, holy shit. And like everything I saw started popping in my head. And what stuck out to me, which was fucking crazy to this day, like it's gonna definitely be like one of my next tattoos. It's gonna say the summit, because in my head that's what it was. So I had an African elder, like chief, and I had a Native American elder like chief, which I have both in my family.
Wow.
And we're sitting there, you know, like the movie Troy. Remember Troy when they were like going to battle, but they had these camps where everything was chill. Isn't it weird? Like nobody invaded camps. Like war was like this traditional thing. Like you didn't invade the camp. When it was time to go to war, you met on the battlefield.
Yeah.
You didn't fuck with. So we're at this camp, and I'm looking in the background. I see nothing but Native Americans and Africans, literally in their traditional garb, everything, but they're in this one unity. Like everybody's talking, laughing, joking, and we're in this hut/teepee. Now, mind you, I know people gonna hear this like, wow, that's crazy, but literally this is what's going on as I'm under. And I was like, yeah, man, I just want to get rid of these demons, man. I just feel like I got a couple more left. And when every time I start talking about it, I start tearing up. Like I feel it now.
Wow.
And they said, John, you don't even have any demons left. You just like to keep them for an edge because you think it's what you need.
Wow.
And that shit, like just thinking about it now, like,
damn.
and it's like, if you think about, you know, toxic masculinity, like we feel like we gotta have this, I gotta have this demon because I'm this happy, smiley, vegan motherfucker. And if I come across too soft, somebody's gonna try to test me.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're like, they've been gone. You just like to act like you still got them. And I'm sitting here like, fuck.
Wow.
Like,
That's deep.
yeah.
So
And again, it's probably my subconscious telling me, but it's this vision I'm having. And like, and they're telling me, they're like, we're so proud of you. We see everything you're doing. You keep going. We know where your heart is. Don't let nobody deter you. You keep going. And like, I'm sure it was more in there, but at 20 minutes, and like the colors were just so vibrant.
Yeah.
It was like being in the movie Avatar because the colors were just bouncing. And so I went there with a guy. I went there with somebody else. And so I went first because I was like, look, if you have a traumatic experience, I'm not doing it. So I was like, let me go first. Because they tell you, like, you can go under and you could literally have demons in there and you might be tossing, turning,
Right.
Damn.
you know, whatever. And I'm like, let me go first. And then that way, if it doesn't work for you, I'll still go. So his was actually different. And I woke up, I'll never forget when I came out of mine, I opened my eye and I felt like this teardrop. I'm like, damn, like, what's going on? And I sat up, I had a couple tears. So my friend that did it, he went through it and he came out. I saw him wipe his eyes when he came out. And when he sat up, I'm talking about like flowing tears.
Damn.
Not like a cry, but just like, and so he asked him, because when you're the other person there, you're just their safe haven. I can't say anything to him. In fact, like he warned us, like, don't give eye contact, because a lot of times while you're under, you'll look for somebody to save you while you're in there. And he's like, don't look at him. So I remember when I came to, I'm like looking at him and he's like looking over the corner, like trying not to look at me. And I'm like, bro, like I'm good. Like he's like trying to avoid eye contact, like a kid in trouble. So when he came out, you know, I made sure I looked away. I didn't look at him. And so the shaman goes like, he's like, oh, you're crying. He's like, why are you crying? He's like, I honestly have no idea.
Wow.
He didn't know. But he explained his experience. He said, honestly, it was peaceful. He said, I was going down this river on a float. And on the left and right of the river, I see people from my past and my present, dead and alive, but everybody's at peace. He said, nobody's frowning, nobody's smiling, nobody's crying, nobody's laughing, but I just felt peace. And he said the colors, and it was the same thing I experienced. He's like, the colors coming off the water were just luminescent and just color.
That's amazing.
And now mind you, I came out, because you got a little buzz when you come out of this, like you still, I was good because I was, you know, he was like, yeah, and I know I was only under for like 2 or 3 minutes. I was like, bro, you were down for like 20 minutes. I don't know what the fuck you talking about. He was like, wait, what? I was like, oh yeah. Because he was telling me, he's like, yeah, you were gone for like 20 minutes. And like, I remember like holding their hands. Like we literally held hands while we're talking, while I'm talking to the elders. And like in my head, I just had this word summit that came to me. Like, it was like we had this summit. And I got so much clarity out of it, man. Like, so, you
That's
know,
amazing,
I don't even know how the fuck we got to that subject, but I had to talk about that.
No, that's
like,
great. That's a.
But the toxic masculinity, I think that's where I got to it. Like, you know, we taught like you got to be hard from a kid, from a baby. Like my son, I have to watch myself, like when he's crying, you know, like when I want to be like, hey man, stop crying. But I'm like, you know what? Like, you got to express yourself at the same time.
Totally.
My thing, I always tell him, I was like, cry because you're in pain. Don't just cry because you want something. And that's my biggest thing. Like, I try to keep him from being that spoiled kid. Like, yeah, cry, but make sure it's pain or regret or hurt. Don't cry because your iPad got taken away from you. Like, cut that shit out.
Right.
But, you know, I understand, you know, like, yeah, like you're in pain, something hurt, that, you know, you got to do it. So, because I'm a crier. I am. I know I'm a crier.
Me too, man.
I can cry.
Super emotional.
I'll
Man.
admit that I am as well.
Yeah, super emotional, man. Yeah, I am.
But you know what's crazy? I really don't cry for myself.
Right.
I cry when I see other people's stories.
Exactly.
That's
Me
amazing.
too, man.
Yeah, me too.
It's
man.
crazy.
That is a
Like,
big
I
difference.
don't know what
Yeah.
that is. Like, when it comes to me, I don't really.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
cool.
Myself, I'm not. Yeah.
I can't lie.
movies
I will
and
say
other
this.
things.
I will say this. Last time I cried for myself was when I got my book deal.
Oh.
I won't say numbers. I'm not that guy. I won't say numbers, but I will say that was fucking crazy, the number I got. like crazy to the point like my
Life changing, kind of.
my
Wow.
agent that's working the film for us, he was like, dude, I got clients with millions of followers that only got a little bit over what you got for your book deal. He's like, that's crazy. It was to the point where I never forget, I finally got the email. I was in the mountains of like North Carolina. Took the kids up there to like just kind of relax. Like I'm not religious. I don't celebrate holidays, but it was around one of the holidays, and I was like, all right, let's go. Let's just relax. You know what I'm saying? So I found a YMCA, and of course I'm gonna go work out. I'm fucking going to work out. I go work out, and there's no reception though. I'm in the mountains, and so which is so crazy. A lady working at the desk recognized me. It was like,
Wow.
Like it's been crazy, man. Like which is good. Is good and bad, you know?
Yeah.
And so when I finally said my name, she was like, oh my God, I knew that was you. But I was like, what the fuck is he doing in North Carolina in the mountains? Like, and I was like, I'm asking myself the same thing. Like, really, it wasn't my idea to come here, but I'm here. Like, so as I'm leaving, the guy's like, you know, we got Wi-Fi if you want to use it. I'm, oh, okay, cool. So I click on the Wi-Fi. As I'm walking out, my email is going crazy. Like, I'm getting all these alerts.
Yeah.
And I'm still in the parking lot, so the Wi-Fi is working. And I open up the email, and I see from my book agent, she's like, well, I got good news. Now, mind you, backtrack. I got approached for a book 3 years ago. Sound like a great book. It was a great book. Amazing company. This company is successful as hell. Like, if you go on Amazon, these motherfuckers got New York Times bestsellers.
Wow.
They offered me $2,000 for a book.
Dang. Come on.
$2,000. Wait,
Yeah.
the kicker, no royalties.
What?
Come on, man.
But that's how they make their killing. And it made me think about the record industry.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
How
Yeah.
these kids are so excited to get a record deal, and some adults
Yeah.
so excited to get a record deal that they just sign it
Right.
and they get nothing for
Nothing,
it.
dude.
Yeah.
But they got this #1 album,
Yeah.
and it looks great to everybody else, and everybody's like, well, why is he broke? It's like, well, because the deal sucked, and
Exactly.
he just wanted a deal.
$2,000
And so-
no royalties. Damn, it's crazy.
$2,000, no royalties. And so I remember I was like, man, I do want a book. And they're like, well, we promote you, we do all this, we do everything, and you have a #1 best-selling book. So when you go for your next book, and I was like, yeah, no, I can't do that. So mind you, fast forward to, you know, back in December when I got the deal, I'm reading it, and my agent's like, I have amazing news. Penguin Random House, which is the #1 fucking book in a company, in the world,
It's massive.
they gave you an offer of this. And I read that
amazing.
shit, and immediately in my car, I'm like, fuck yeah. Fuck all you motherfuckers that didn't believe in me. Fuck you. Fuck your friends. Fuck your parents. Fuck everybody that didn't believe in me.
Wow.
Like, because I it was a release. Like I
Right.
said, like a lot of people that don't know me, they're going to think this is an overnight thing. This has been 20 fucking years in the making. Like, I've been on
Yeah.
this mission for 20 years, like nonstop. And so I'm hyped. I am fucking on cloud 9, but I'm like, damn right. damn right. Never give up on yourself. You fucking keep going.
It's amazing.
Like, I'm
man.
big on talking to myself like that though.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
and so I go to FaceTime my mom, and it's ringing. I'm like, I can't wait to fucking tell my mom.
Yeah.
As soon as she picks up, I fucking break down.
Damn.
Because it's my mom.
Yeah,
dude.
man.
Like, and like, she been through everything with me. Like, the number one supporter. Like, never went vegan a day in her life. Don't even fucking want to go vegan.
That's my mom too.
But she tells everybody about me.
Yeah,
she
so
tells
proud.
everybody what I'm doing, how fucking great I am, how good
Dope.
I'm doing. And so, mind you, as a mom, I'm calling her bawling, crying, right? And I can't, it's like, as a kid when you were in trouble and you were trying to talk and you can't get the words out.
Totally.
So she's like, baby, what's wrong? And I'm like, it's okay, Mom. And she's like, what? I'm trying to get it out. And finally I get it out like, it happened. And so finally we're laughing, and she made me cry again on the call because she told me. So mind you, remember she adopted me at birth. And like, so you got to think about it. And I never thought about this until that moment. All the family and friends and colleagues that told her, like, you don't want to take in this crack baby. Like, what are you thinking? You're 40 years old. You know what I'm saying? And she said on the FaceTime right there, she said, I knew from day one you were going to be great, but it would have killed me if you would have been great and I wasn't there to see it.
Yeah.
And that shit, and again,
powerful,
I'm like,
man.
Mom, I just stopped crying.
Right.
Shit.
Yeah.
Fuck. And
That's
that shit hit
amazing.
me, man. It's like, you know, like I tell people, like, man, like, you gotta keep going. If don't nobody ever fucking believe in you,
Yeah, man.
you
Even
believe,
yourself.
man.
Yeah.
Just keep
I love
fucking
that.
believing. Like, you gotta believe. Like, you gotta be the superhero. I just made a post. I said, if you're not the superhero in your story, you're the villain. If you're not the superhero in your own story,
Yeah.
you are the fucking villain. You are cutting yourself down. You are detrimenting your progress. You are the one keeping yourself back.
Totally.
A lot of times. Like, don't get me wrong. And as the caption and you know, when I might write something in the post, but I always go through a dissertation. I know I do. It's my bad.
In the
I
caption,
talk too
you mean?
much,
Yeah.
as y'all have probably figured that out now. But I was like, look, the world is going to do a good job of kicking your ass. It doesn't need your help. It
love
doesn't.
that.
Right.
It
I
don't
love
need
that.
your help.
That's a
Like, you don't
very
need to
good
help
point.
them out.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they
Yeah.
coming to kick your ass.
No matter what.
Yeah.
No matter what. There's a Buddhist belief that I got a tattoo here that, like, is a tribute to it. And like I said, I'm not religious at all, but, you know, things just stick out to you. And I've always been, like, real receptive around me, like energy, like what we talked about. Like, this whole thing I did with the meditation, it's heightened it even more, but I've always been receptive. And one thing I learned is that they have a quote, which is a truth. They have the noble truths that they live by. And one of them is called dukkha. And that stuck out to me is D-U-K-K-H-A.
Okay.
And what dukkha means is suffering. And the premise behind that is that if you understand that no matter how good of a person you are, no matter how amazing you are still going to fucking suffer, then you can actually be happy. Because you're not sitting there like, well, why did this
love
happen to
that.
me?
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
going on with me? Like, I've been a good person. This shouldn't happen to me. It's like, no. Your suffering is a part of your life.
Yeah.
How you recover is what makes you. You're going to suffer. I don't give a fuck what you do.
Yeah.
Like, it's been shown. I don't care how much money you got.
Totally.
I don't care how much status you got. I don't care what's going on. You could be with the love of your life. There's going to be a suffer
Nah, there's no doubt
involved.
about it.
I agree, man.
And so once I learned that, man, I was just like, my life changed. Like, well, why the fuck am I worried about shit being fucked up? It's gonna
Yeah.
be fucked up regardless.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I'm not saying you. And it even talks about it.
It's how you maneuver through
Right.
it.
It doesn't
Yeah.
say that you don't feel pain. It's not that you don't have remorse. It's just you don't live in it.
Right.
It go through
Yeah.
it. It runs its course. You're out. You got to move on to the solution now.
Yeah.
I gotta go to the bathroom.
Go pee.
No,
I'm
go
dying.
for it.
I'm like, I've been trying to, like,
Nah, you're all
What
good.
is the book called and when's it coming out?
It's actually called, believe it or not, Badass Vegan.
Sick.
Yeah, they actually bought this shit. They
Wow, that's crazy.
fucking
with those
bought-
words in there too, and yeah, it's amazing.
they bought Badass Vegan, man.
Wow, dude.
So it's called Badass Vegan: How to Get Your Life Right.
Okay,
Um,
and that's coming out this year.
no, 2022. So I'm in the process of finishing up now. I should be done writing it by June. And then you got
autobiography. What is it?
It's a guide.
Okay.
So we talk about me, my journey to veganism. Talk about how other people can be vegan.
Yep.
But my biggest premise also is how to stay vegan. I don't think nobody's talking about that.
Yeah.
They're not talking about when you go to your uncle's house and he got that barbecue you've been eating for 40 years and that shit start calling you.
Yeah.
Like, how do you do it? How do you stay with it? You know, like you got to have a bigger calling than your taste buds sometimes.
Yeah.
And then, we go through like the premise, what is veganism, how it got here, showing that like veganism really is a whitewashed name that was labeled to something that's been going on since the beginning of time.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
really,
It's been around. It's been here for a long time.
Yeah. Like, you mean to tell me you don't think it was people in Africa not eating animals?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you thought this
India
was new?
too. Yeah.
India.
Yeah.
China. Asia as a whole. You know, like Indian culture. Like, now I'm not talking about the people that Christopher Columbus fucking accidentally found a land and was like, oh, they look like the Indian people. We call them Indians, not those. There's Native Americans or whatever they decide to be called. I'm not going to give them a name. Like, even then. So, like, even in my movie, we went to the Native American land where they don't even let you come on. And we got to interview people there. And the lady I was interviewing, she was like, yeah, we're a plant-based culture.
Wow.
It's just the stories, they try to make you think that we're like this, we're slaughtering all our animals. Like, even in Indian culture, if you have a cow, you're an idiot if you kill your cow. I'll never forget, I was talking to an Indian elder, and he was telling me, he was like, you kill your cow, you're stupid. Your cow does everything for you. Mm-hmm. It gives you your milk. I mean, they drink milk, you know what I'm saying? It gives you your milk. They even have these things. They use the cow dung as like scouring pads to clean their house.
Wow.
Because guess what it does? It actually deters other animals from coming into houses.
Wow. So cow poop.
Exactly.
Wow. To clean
the
the
cow
house.
chips.
That's crazy.
The cow chips. So it's like your cow, it fertilizes your land for you. So you grow your crops. You don't kill your cow. Mm-hmm. When they say cash cow, they're not saying because you killed it. It's like, no, your cash cow is basically helping you to stay afloat.
Totally.
You don't kill it.
Yeah.
But fucking, European culture is like, hey, you know what? Let's kill everything. Like, fuck it. Like, kill it. Like, oh, what should we do with this over here? I don't know. Kill it. Like, that's what they do.
It's a lot of slaughtering, a lot of sacrificing of animals, in any type of historical sense of Europe. I've just been fascinated by this whole mythological time period in history with mythology and Greek mythology, and since so many things are I had to, oh my God, there's been so many things that I realized that are functioning because of that base of our society, the way that we live, democracy. The whole idea of everything is really based around a lot that's coming from Greek mythology and that whole background. So when you look at that, it's fascinating. I mean, there's so many sacrifices of animals and everything that goes on. And humans. Not all the time, but it's the similarity. I mean, since it's so old, it reflects on so many different types of religions where they're almost so similar.
Oh my God.
The stories.
You can't talk to a lot of people about that though. You can't say how religions are similar because they go into
I don't know.
No knock on anybody because I believe, and I'm gonna put this out here. I have no knock on anybody for being religious as long as it makes you the best fucking person that you can be.
Absolutely.
If you are a dick and you claim your religion, then we don't have a conversation. But if you literally are striving to be the best person you can be, loving other people, loving the world, then it made you better.
I think what you said that was super important and very true, and what I learned from my parents who were extremely religious, and I'm not the same way, but at the same time, they weren't hypocritical. They were living their life the way that they felt, and living by example, that had a big influence on me. where I became a spiritual person. I understand what they're talking about, and all their knowledge that they gave came from just them doing what they do, what they're preaching. You know, so that had a huge impact without them having to force it down my throat. You know, but I have a respect for all religions because of them and the fact that they weren't hypocritical. They were living their life, living by example. Yeah. You know.
By the way, I just want to shout out Liquid Death because fuck, this shit is good.
If you're listening, I'm
gonna lace you up.
If you're listening,
I'm gonna lace you up.
I know a guy. I
got you.
I know a guy. He can help you out there.
I think we covered a lot. It's an hour and 55 minutes. We covered a lot of stuff.
Oh, my bad.
No.
Okay, John.
No, you're so. What I like about all the guests is that the common theme is that everybody's super. They have the PMA. They're positive. And you're so focused, and you consider yourself an optimist or pessimist. You seem so positive. Maybe you're a realist.
I am optimistically pessimist.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, I realize how fucked up shit is, and at the end of the day, I'm still like, it's gonna get better.
Right.
Like, I think people sometimes, they think because, again, that you're this happy, healthy person, whatever, you don't see things the way they are. I'm like, no, I see it.
Right.
It's not gonna deter me though. Like, like just for like, I wish the world would love everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In my head, I see the world loving everybody.
Me too. Mm-hmm.
It's not gonna fucking happen anytime soon. I won't be alive when it happens.
Me either, man.
But I know that I have to start that locomotive train going down that track now.
Me too.
You know what I'm saying? Agree. So it gets there.
Right.
Like, I think that's one of humans' biggest problems is that if it ain't instant gratification, why the fuck am I gonna do it? I'm not gonna reap the benefit from it. Then I'm not gonna do it. Like, no, fuck that. Like, I want it, and I don't even want it to be about my kids. I just want generations, period.
Yeah.
Because I was on this before I had kids. Before I even wanted kids. I didn't want kids for a long fucking time. Like, long fucking time.
Right.
Like, long. In case I didn't say it.
But he loves being a dad. He loves it.
Oh, I love it. Dude, it doesn't make or break a good person. I'm not going to say that. You know, like, it doesn't. But I will say, man, my kids have, like, gave me this, like, extra motivation. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, man. Inspiration.
Again, I don't want to raise assholes either.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want them to think that anything's given to them. I don't. Shit. I know this sounds crazy. I want my kids to suffer a little bit. I do. I want them to understand, like, I don't give a fuck what you are and who you are. Struggle.
Right.
There's going to be some times you're going to have to struggle. Duca. Don't forget Duca.
Duca.
It's going to happen.
Duca, yeah.
It's going to fucking happen. I don't care what you think, how it's going to happen. The universe has its own plan.
Yeah.
And if you and I think that's what helps people. If you're not able to adjust, your life is going to be shit. I don't care what plan you got. I mean, let's be honest. You love your career. You love your career.
Yes.
I love my fucking career. It still didn't go the way I planned it.
No.
And if I would have gave up because one fucking hiccup or 10 or let's be honest, probably 100 hiccups.
Yeah.
Then this wasn't for me. You got to be willing to take the hiccups and be like, all right, shit's fucked up.
Yeah.
Guess what? Tomorrow or even later on the day, we got to still do this. It's got to happen.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's got to happen no matter what. So
and you've been so focused and believed in yourself the whole time through everything.
Man, if I don't believe in not one motherfucker, I believe in John Lewis. I guarantee you, dude. If I don't, like, all my fuck ups, everything. Like, I fuck up, and I'm never like, you dumb son of a bitch. I'm like, hey, like, I'm one of those people. I will get in the mirror, and I'm like, you fucked up.
Yeah.
You know you fucked up.
Yeah.
Come on now, you better than that. Let's go. Like, that's me. Like, and even when I was 315 pounds, I would look in the mirror and be like, all right, we don't like this shit, but we gonna get out of this shit. I've always been that way. I've always talked to myself. I think, like I said, you got to talk to yourself, man. You got to be your biggest promoter, man.
Yeah,
even when shit ain't going right, even when you know you fucking up, you still got to be like, all right, you fucked up, but we can do better. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go, man. You got this shit. Pump yourself up. Pat yourself on the back. Smack your own ass. Whatever it take. Like, I don't care. Like, hey, man, good shit. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get this.
Yeah.
You got to do it, man.
No, I love it, man. You have so much positivity and so inspirational talking to you and sitting down with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's awesome.
man, I appreciate it,
I
man.
appreciate your time.
Yeah.
They're Killing Us might come out Juneteenth this year.
Fingers crossed, man.
I'm dying.
But
to see
again,
this,
like I said, man, it took us 4 years to make it. So
Yeah, that's true,
what's
yeah.
another couple months at this point? Like
Yeah.
I'm just like,
I'm really, I'm definitely can't wait to see it.
Yeah,
I
me
think
too.
it's
I
going to
can't
be
wait.
so important. You know, especially in I think in the Black community, because it's always been something that stood out to me a lot of times. Like, why is it that it's so difficult in the Black community for people to change up their diet, to understand it or have that understanding of what it is, you know, that's being geared as cultural, or like, this is my culture, eating this way and preparing this type of food. This is, a part of our history, to realize that it is killing us.
Yeah.
And not only Black people, but just in general with other cultures as well, this style of food and everything that's coming down and just being like, oh, it's culture, and
but think about this. This is how brainwashed and fucked up we become as a culture.
mm-hmm.
You could tell somebody, you know what, man, I'm going to stop drinking. I'm going to get healthy and I'm going to change my life. And you'll literally have somebody like, man, what the fuck would you do that for? Like, that's how crazy
I know.
Yeah.
people hear that. And they're like, oh, that's egotistical. Or that's stuck on yourself. Like,
Right.
no, fucker, I want to live healthy.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Like,
Why would you quit drinking? Why would
Right.
you quit?
Yeah,
Right.
why would you? Oh, man. Like, I don't know about y'all. Like, I stopped drinking in 2008.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of people that think, like, you don't drink? Like,
Something wrong?
Like, yeah, like, were you an alcoholic? I was like, no, I just didn't fucking like alcohol.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
I honestly didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
And two, I'm cheap as fuck, and that's just not cheap. Like, it's not.
When did you,
It's just-
how long are you sober now?
It's been a year. I haven't even really thought
Okay.
about it.
Yeah, it's and that's the
been
thing. Like, I think people automatically think if you cut something out, you must have been on the other extreme.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like, nah, just. And so I also started thinking too, as alcohol is perceived, it's perceived as like this kind of like pastime. Depending on if somebody's born, what is usually around? Alcohol.
Yeah.
Somebody dies, what's around? Alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
You got all these fucking liquor stores, all these liquor companies. They're smack dab in the motherfucking hood. Guess who? There's a liquor tax on the shit. So the neighborhood, the communities are getting taxed from the alcohol that's
Wow.
basically destroying the community, and they ain't giving shit back.
Wow.
Like, when have you ever seen a scholarship fund from an alcohol company?
Nah.
Let's go clean up the neighborhood.
Right.
None of that
No.
shit. And it's destroying it. Destroying it.
It's crazy. The tax didn't even know that. It's wild.
Yeah, and then the thing about this, you got some people that won't buy liquor in the hood, but they'll go like get it from somewhere else. It's like, motherfucker, it's the same bank account.
Right.
So if you go buy it, whether you go buy it in Beverly Hills or you buy that shit in Compton, the dude that's getting fat off of that, he don't give a damn.
Yeah.
He don't care as long as you buying it.
It's true.
It's the same thing. But then you got to start thinking too, where do you see your liquor stores?
Right.
You ain't going down to Beverly Hills and seeing a McDonald's. I don't even live here. But I guarantee you, if you go to fucking Beverly Hills, there ain't no McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't no check cashing store. Ain't no gun store. And it ain't no liquor store.
Yeah.
But you go to the other neighborhoods, and we actually talk about it in the movie.
Right.
There are more liquor stores. No, there are more gun stores in America than grocery stores.
Wow.
That's insane.
And where are they predominantly placed?
Yeah, it's crazy.
In communities of color.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah, man.
It just, they're trying to kill us. Like,
Yeah.
and the thing is, the people that are working in office right now, they didn't get the ball rolling, but they ain't doing shit to change it.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, like, people always give me shit like, nobody's out to kill you. Nobody's doing. It's like, okay, look, they didn't start it, but they're not looking to change it either.
Right.
I don't care
That's a
if
good
it's
point.
the food, the guns, the alcohol, the pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
Like, we all know one pharmaceutical rep. I don't know what it is, but everybody knows one pharmaceutical rep, whether it's family, friend, colleague, whatever. And I tell them, the pharmaceutical industry is a $3.2 trillion industry. 3.2 trillion.
It's crazy.
Trillion.
They don't want to see healthy people. Now, don't get me wrong. Medicine is needed in a lot of cases. Like, I'm not going to say medicine is bullshit.
Right.
We do need medicine in some cases,
course.
but we don't need all the Lipitor, all the fucking Viagra, all this shit that's going on. So when I tell people this, I want you to do the math in your head. Like, I take it back to Sesame Street and literally see the numbers dancing as I tell you this shit. So you got 3.2 billion dancing over in the corner. And if I told you they don't want to see anybody healthy, because take 10%, if 10% of the people that didn't necessarily have to take medication stopped taking the medication, the whole industry would implode. And people like, nah, man, that's 10%. They wouldn't do shit. You know what 10% of $3.2 trillion is?
What is it?
That's $320 fucking million.
Wow.
That
That's
shit
crazy.
would go down.
Yeah.
And so when I tell people, like, they don't want to, they not necessarily are the ones that put it in motion, but they go to work every day and don't give a fuck. The person that's the pharmaceutical rep, that's your friend, your family. He goes to sell that shit. He knows what it is, but he gets in his nice ass car, goes to his suburbs, gets in a nice ass house, and he's chilling. And that's on the small end. He's making this couple $100,000 a year. You talk about the motherfucker that's making the 3.2 trillion at the big part.
Man, yeah.
He don't want to see that shit at all. The person that's making 200,000 don't want to see it because he get paid.
Yeah.
He ain't taking the shit, but he's still selling it. You know what I'm saying? And think about that. I always say that. It's just like when they say don't get high off your own supply.
Yeah.
You think the CEO of McDonald's eat
I was
McDonald's?
just gonna say that. Yeah.
No.
You think the
Absolutely
CEO of the cigarette company smokes cigarettes?
No.
No. These motherfuckers like put it out there for them. Fuck them.
Right.
Keep the bank account
So
fat.
crazy, man.
And so you got to keep looking at that shit. And then you got to see, we found out, I don't know if this is giving away the movie. It's not. We did so, like we tackled so many topics. But we found out that some of the fucking fast food companies, guess where they invest their money?
Pharmaceuticals.
Fucking pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
Well, holy shit.
Yeah.
I'm going to get you sick. I'm going to sell you the poison, and I'm going to
And
sell
the
you
cure,
the
right.
false cure.
Yeah.
Because if you
man.
listen to all these commercials, when they talking about you going to get anal leakage and fucking, you know what I'm saying, may cause death. But they say it so calm.
I
like,
know, man.
May cause death. like,
Anal leakage.
hey, your headache's gone, but you might die. Like, they don't like.
Or suicide.
They say, yeah. They say suicidal thoughts have occurred. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they say it's so cool.
Right. If
But what they fail to
suicidal
realize,
thoughts
they
do
never
occur,
say there's only 2 countries that allow television advertising for pharmaceuticals.
That's true. Right.
We're one of them.
That
That
is-
is true. That's true.
Yeah.
2 countries. And that don't sound like a lot, but if you think about all the countries
Yeah.
on the planet, I don't give a fuck if you think this motherfucker's flat or round or square. 2. And we one of them. And not one of them commercials say cure.
No.
Not one of them. They say help you deal with the symptoms of.
Yeah.
So they ain't curing your shit. They putting duct tape on it while you still getting sicker of the same shit instead of solving the problem. And I don't know who came up with this quote, but it always stuck with me. It's like, the problem with society today is we'll see a flooded kitchen and we go grab the mop instead of turning the faucet off. Like, we'll grab the
Good one,
mop.
too.
Let's clean up the mess. Let's clean up the mess.
Yeah.
Why don't you just turn the fucking faucet off?
Right.
Yeah.
Get to the problem. We don't do that. We're like, hey, man, I got 18 mops. Man, it took me 18 hours to clean up this shit. You know, it would took you 10 minutes if you would have cut off the goddamn faucet.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, nobody thinks of that.
So true.
My soapbox. My bad.
But I think a lot of it definitely comes back to what you're saying about having that love for yourself, that self-love, and treating yourself
You're supposed to feel good.
Yeah. You're
right.
supposed to.
And
You're
a part of
supposed
that
to.
is to be knowledgeable about what's going on around you, what you're putting in your body.
You're supposed to feel good,
Yeah.
and you're supposed to be unapologetic about feeling good.
right.
Like, people literally will give people a guilt trip for feeling good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
true.
not realistic.
Right.
Fuck you.
People hate on you for being happy.
Yeah.
yeah.
Crazy, man.
That's not your reality. My reality is
Yeah.
fucking happy, healthy. Like I said, the
Right.
body's designed to be 120 years. I'm cool with 110, 115.
I'm down,
Quality
man.
fucking years.
Quality
Yeah.
years,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Quality over quantity. Because everybody's always like, well, my grandmother ate meat until she died at 90. Yeah, but you don't talk about the 18 surgeries and the fucking 85 pills she took daily.
Right.
Like, let's be
Facts.
real. Like, let's talk about all of it. And you didn't talk about the wheelchair she was in for the last 30 years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, when you
Yeah.
came over to say hi to her, she didn't even know who the fuck you were. Like, let's talk about all of it. Like,
Right.
let's not just,
Yeah.
she lived to be 90, but I'm talking about quality over quantity.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I'm saying? Like quality.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I see a 70-year-old person running a marathon, I'm happy. But at the same time, I'm like, fuck yeah, you supposed to be doing that shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We gotten so comfortable by everything making the world the way it is. And don't get me wrong, I understand. We got to this point because we did some fucked up shit back in the day for us to be able to live the life we live today.
Right.
Yeah, totally.
We slaughtered millions of fucking mountain lions and all this shit for
Right.
us to be able to walk out the door and not get fucking like
Right.
torn to
I mean,
pieces.
it was
I get it.
a hard life. You know, people don't want to go back to like.
Exactly.
Right.
I get that. But at the same time, we got to the point where we're so comfortable. I was like, well, I'm not going to war. I'm not going to fight for myself. It's like, yeah, but how many stories have you heard from people that they weren't physically able to protect themselves from just a basic ladder falling?
Mm-hmm.
And they couldn't move out the way because they don't do shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They didn't have the instinct to move. They didn't have they couldn't move their feet 2 steps because it fucking took them too long to even think about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't think about that. Like, the natural stuff. There's a study that I saw about, you ever heard people say you got to make sure you get your 10,000 steps?
Yeah.
Yep.
But a lot of people don't know why you got to do 10,000 steps. So there's studies, multiple studies done, but it's been proven that if you take 2,000 to 3,000 steps a day, and we're going to play a guessing game because it's good. This is get everybody involved. What do you think in a percentage from 0 to 100? If you take 3,000 steps a day, what do you think your mortality rate is? The higher number being worse, the lower number being better.
God, your mortality. Jeez.
There's no wrong. There's wrong answer, but there's no like you lose out. But
You go first, Derek. I'm thinking.
I have no idea.
2,000 to 3,000 steps a day.
I don't know. I
Say a percentage. What do you think?
Yeah, percentage.
your 20. I don't know.
Okay, 20.
20% chance of what? Living longer or dying?
No, mortality
Mortality.
rate. So your mortality rate is means you got a better chance of dying.
I'll say 5%.
75.
Oh, sorry.
75 fucking percent. If you only take 2,000 to 3,000 steps a day, your mortality rate is 75%.
Wow.
If you take those 2,000 to 3,000 steps and you move it up to 6,000, what do you think you moved it to? So you went from 3,000 at a 75% rate, but you doubled it. So now you're at 6,000. What do you think it is?
30.
30, yeah. 35, yeah.
25. So just look at that drastic difference just by going 6,000 steps. You know, the craziest
fucking
part
nuts.
is, though, if you take that 6,000 steps and you move it to 10,000 steps, I won't even have you guess this. You move your mortality rate all the way down to 6%
Wow.
just by taking 10,000 steps. It doesn't matter the intensity, the velocity. If you walk it, you run it, you crawl it, whatever you
It's
do,
great to know this.
you do
Glad I've been
10,000
doing it.
My wife
steps.
does it every day. My wife
Exactly.
does it every day. Yeah.
10,000
Glad I've been doing
steps,
it.
you drop your mortality rate because people don't realize, like we talked about earlier, your body's the first machine on this fucking planet.
Yeah, word.
Every animal on this earth is a machine. This beautiful dog here is a machine.
Yeah.
You got to think, for you to take one step, the chemical reactions that have to happen in your body from your brain to your big toe to move. Everything, your heart, your lungs, everything has to move.
Yeah.
So you keep the machine going. And when we talked about, like, if a ladder fell, you don't know what to do because your body doesn't know what to do. You got to think about it. If it's just like having a 67 Chevelle. And I always talk about that because my mom had a 67 Chevelle, and she actually gave it away to charity, which was a good cause, but it hurt my heart because I thought that car was going to be mine. But I learned this from her a long time ago. She never drove it. My whole life, she just kept it. She had a new car. She kept a 67 Chevelle in the driveway. And every week, at least once a week, she would go start it up.
Mm-hmm.
And I never understood why. She was like, well, because when I need to go actually drive it, it has to be used.
Mm-hmm.
And your body's the same fucking way.
Yeah.
If you don't use it, you can't expect. Because everybody's got this, I'm this warrior mentality in their head. I don't care if it's a soccer mom from West Haven or a ex-Army vet that hasn't done shit since they've been in the Army. They all still think they can do stuff, but they haven't done anything to prepare for it.
Right.
Yeah.
And we all saw, let's be honest, when this shit happened, whether you think it's a pandemic, a endemic, academic, I don't give a fuck what the fuck you think it is, it happened. Mm-hmm. And what happened when everybody went in their houses? You start seeing shit where animals were coming back out.
Yeah, man.
And you start seeing wolves and
Lakes
fucking
and rivers
mountain
are
lions
flourishing. Yeah, man.
and all that shit. Let your ass be caught outside with that mountain lion or that wolf or whatever, and you got to get away now.
Yeah.
But you were like, yeah, but I just was always looking for my remote. I didn't plan this out. I didn't think I'd ever have to do nothing. Like, it doesn't matter. How many wild stories have we heard? It might just be a crazy another fucking human.
Yeah.
And you got to be ready. Like, we are so comfortable that we forget, like, this world don't owe us shit.
Right.
A damn thing. And you got to be ready. And health is a part of that. And mental health is definitely a part of that.
100%.
And that people forget that the food we eat
affects your mind too. Yeah,
Totally
man.
connected.
Because we think about it. You got all these organs in your body. And we know you can talk to anybody and they'll be like, yeah, what you eat affects your organs. Your skin, largest organ on your body. If you drink too much fucking alcohol and you start going to sweat, what you start smelling?
Mm-hmm.
Fucking alcohol.
Yeah.
It's coming out your pores.
Mm-hmm.
That's an organ.
Yeah.
Your heart, your lungs, your liver, all this shit. But for some reason, we forget that the brain is an organ. So if what you eat affects all your organs, why the fuck wouldn't it fuck with your mentality?
100%.
You can't
man.
think clearly. It's not like we get cut off at the neck and like what we eat just goes to these things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why they say your gut is your second brain.
Right.
It's a direct connection.
Yeah.
So like if you're triggered to the point where you can't understand that I need to be ready physically, mentally, you're not going to be there until your mental is in that state where, I always got to be ready.
Yeah.
And it starts with the food. You gotta supply yourself. And the problem is we eating shit and calling it food when we think it's food. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like your body can burn off a lot of things. It don't burn off man-made chemicals. Mm-hmm. Now, everything is made of chemicals. So that's why I say man-made.
Right.
The mango, if you broke down a mango, it's got like 60, 70 chemicals in it. But it ain't man-made.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Natural.
You start putting this shit in there that's not natural. We are not carnivores. I don't give a fuck what nobody says. You know what I'm saying? We think just because our body can digest something that is made for us. You can put plastic in our fucking body.
Right.
It'll break that shit down.
Yeah.
But eventually, guess what? That shit's gonna break the body down.
Yep. 100%.
It's the same thing with the meat. I'll tell people, like I know a lot of vegans don't like to hear this, but I say it all the time, is that meat has some short-term benefits.
Mm-hmm.
Short as a motherfucker, but it's short-term. But when
Short,
that shit,
it's short like the digestive system
Exactly.
of a carnivore.
but when it but when that shit adds up and you keep doing it year after year after year after year, that's why these industries are in business.
Oh yeah.
Keep eating it. Keep going. Keep going. And people are like, I get grass-fed. And they're like, I get a lot of questions like,
Yeah, cows eat grass all the time. They're always
they're like, well, what if it's grass-fed? And what if it's organic? I'm like, okay, how about this? If I do cocaine or if I do organic cocaine, does it make a difference what the fuck it's going to do to me? Doesn't matter. It's still fucking cocaine.
Cocaine.
It's fucking crack. Like at the end of the day, if I have organic crack, but I got this other crack that's GMO, I'm still fucking my shit up at the end of the
100%.
day.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying?
It's a great point, man.
Oh my god. Yes.
Fuck, we kicked a lot of knowledge on here, man. I learned a lot of stuff today,
Yeah,
man.
that was
You learn not to do
incredible.
organic crack.
Yeah,
I knew that
no
for sure.
organic crack for me. Take that out.
But the final thing I want to say, the grass-fed thing, like all cows eat grass. I don't even understand what that means myself.
It's all
All they eat is grass.
I mean, I guess that.
but
there
it's
are others-
marketing. It's
Right.
like organic.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
they use a lot of
organic
marketing.
ain't shit, but naturally grown. But they found a way to make money where companies have to pay. So you got these small farmers that grow everything organic, but they can't pay for that fucking label. It's a business.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if we in California, how many times you been walking down the street, you see an orange tree?
Mm-hmm.
That shit's organic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's literally organic, non-GMO organic, but it don't have a label.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll have a motherfucker scared to eat that orange on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Ain't that crazy? Think about it.
Yeah, it is crazy.
Somebody be scared to grab that lemon off the tree that's right there
Yeah. So true.
because it's not in the store. It don't got the label on it.
Yeah.
Mm.
We got lots of lemons on my tree. I have to give them
And
some.
they're delicious.
Yeah, they're delicious.
And you can
John
pick-
Lewis, man. Wow, man. This is amazing. I could talk to him all day.
Yeah.
I'm learning so much, and like, it's amazing, man.
I
You're
appreciate it, man.
you're infectious. Like, your passion.
I'm glad we
Yeah.
finally made this
Yeah,
happen,
your
man.
positivity is very infectious, man. Like,
for sure.
And I think
for
you can be
sure.
positive and curse a motherfucker out at the same time.
100%. You can
Like-
you can be positive and check to put somebody in check too.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
It doesn't mean you're weak. Doesn't mean like you're not gonna stand up for yourself or your family. You're not gonna smack somebody. Or, you know what I mean? Well, I'm not saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 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 yeah. You
Ooh,
know,
really?
like,
Like, you know what I mean?
I mentally smack people all
That's
the
what
time.
I'm saying.
I do.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
Oh man. Yes.
That's why he should be part of the crew. We all have PMA in our fingers, so before you flick somebody
Yeah.
off, think about it. You could be part of that crew, the PMA middle finger
got my
crew.
I don't.
PMA.
Yeah, I don't have.
I think we should put you down with that
Yeah,
Alright,
man.
because you got that. So it makes you think about things before you do. Like before you.
I
I
say
got
got
pointing
this
finger.
one on this one. This is a tribute to my cousin who passed away last January. So I always talk about smoking too,
Right.
and I'm always like, dude, stop. You know, like people like, oh, it's a freedom of choice. So my cousin passed away. He had 5 kids.
Wow.
He was 44 at the time,
Wow, man.
and
Young.
he, since we were kids, he smoked Blacker Milds. You know, the little things with the bullshit filter.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
I don't know, but I
And-
heard of it.
But they
probably.
always, you know, as a kid, he thought it had a filter on it, so never thought about it. But he would always store it, you know, holding the side of his cheek, and it'd be right here. So basically, he went to the dentist, like, hey, I got a toothache.
Oh.
Dentist is like, I don't think that's a toothache. I think we need to run some further tests. Come to find out, it's a fucking tumor growing in his jaw.
Man.
To the fact where he had to have a surgery. They took a non-weight bearing bone out of his leg to replace in his jaw.
Wow.
Had that surgery. About 2 weeks in, he had complications. They didn't shave it right, whatever. They had to go back in, fix the surgery. He was doing good for like a year. That shit came back even worse. Like, it was pissed at him. Like,
Wow,
how dare you try to
impressive.
get rid of me?
Wow, man.
And man, like I can't even show pictures of it. Like, it's like it took over his face. Like, to the
Damn.
point, this is the cousin. We were roommates as adults. We went to the same high school. We went to the same middle school. I don't know how many nights I spent at his house because we just. I
Yeah.
always tell people, you know, when you're cousins, when you got pictures of y'all taking a bath together as kids. You know, like you know you family then. Like you grown men, like, man, remember we took a bath together? That shit was crazy. Like, no, and that was. I mean, he taught me how to fight. Like he was the person that literally like. He would fuck with me just to get me to the point of ready to fight, and he'd go, that's what you got to do sometimes. And like, it made sense. I mean, we were kids, but he knew
Yeah.
better back then, you know? Like, when I tell you the toughest motherfucker, anybody that knew my cousin Brian knew that was the toughest motherfucker on the block. Like, to the point, he was in a car. Like, we lost my sophomore year in high school. We lost 5 kids that year.
Wow.
Like, crazy. Like, that was just something we were used to. And 2 of them died in a car accident with my cousin. To the point he was in a coma. He lost eyesight in his eye. He was a star football player. Lost it all right there. And I'll never forget when I was talking to him and he was going through the pain of, like, you know, the shit taking over his face. And he was like, I'm scared, cuz. And he's crying. I'm like, this is the toughest dude I know.
Damn.
The toughest dude I know. And I'm trying to tell him, I'm like, nah, man. I was like, man, this ain't even the worst shit you've been through. And I'm talking about this accident where he was in a coma. Like, coma, lost his eyesight, lost the use of his arm and his leg. He worked his way back to get back to, like, actually being able to run. He never played sports again,
Wow.
but
That's incredible.
and he said, cuz, I'm not gonna lie, I ain't never been through nothing like this. And it was all from fucking smoking cigarettes.
Wow, man.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and people think it's so innocent and so this. I'm like, dude, that shit adds up. We forget I always say, if your past can come back to haunt you, imagine what doing the right shit can do. You know what I'm saying? But we don't think about that. We all like, yeah, your past can haunt you. Yeah, okay, if you know your past can haunt you in 10 years, imagine what if you start doing the right shit now. In 10 years, what the fuck can happen?
Yeah.
You know, so as a kid, we always used to say, get it done. Like, no matter what it was, get it done. And when I tell you, man, and it got me, man, like I said, I'm very emotional, you know, like, not about me, but like other people. And my cousin, we were on the phone. This was like towards the end, and he's crying, man. Like, it's taking everything in me not to cry back. You know how it is, man. Like, you just
you at the hospital with him.
Went
to the hospital with him. You mean when he's in the?
Yeah, I went to. The funny thing was, I came back to visit St. Louis right after he had the first surgery, and he didn't even know I was in town. And I surprised him and came to the hospital, and like. He looked up, man, and like he saw me and just broke down, like, because he didn't even know I was coming to St. Louis. Yeah. But I'm talking like towards the end, like he had got out the hospital. He was good for a year. Like, he was good. He was refereeing game. He started being a high school referee, basketball. He was telling me how much he fucking loved it. Like, he was like, dude, it's like my way of being back on the court. Imagine,
totally.
He was an athlete. They were talking about he wasn't gonna be able to walk again, and he's running up and down the court as a ref. So like, he was loving it, and so he started a company called a landscaping company called Get It Done, and so everything was going with that. And like, one of the words that got me, man, like, I used to always be like, you know, I go to LA once a month, which I do. I come here once a month. I have to do shit. I was like, man, you gotta come with me one time, man. Just come and just like, he never been out of St. Louis. He grew up in Warren, Arkansas. I grew up in Little Rock, but then his family moved to St. Louis as well, like that side of the family. And we ended up going to the same high school, everything. Like I said, in college, we were roommates. We had a house together, everything. And so we're on the phone talking. And so he started looking into like the vegan, Dr. Sabi, all these different things. Because he's at the end. He's like, fuck, I got to do it. And I always tell people, like, everybody's like this YOLO shit. And you only live once. Until you fucking find out you only live once.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's fucking YOLO. Right.
Yeah.
YOLO this, YOLO that. You only live once. Fucking do this. Until you get to the end and you're like, fuck, I only got one.
Right.
Yeah, dude.
I don't get to put another quarter in the machine and get like 3 more lives. This is it. And so he started like telling me how he's like, cuz, I don't know if I told you this, because we call each other cuz, like cousins. It's like, cuz, I don't know if I ever told you this. He said, man, but you making a fucking difference, dude. He was like, I don't give a fuck what happens with me. You keep doing this shit, man, because you are changing lives. And he's crying, and like, we on the phone. And I'm in LA when I'm talking to him on the phone about this.
Wow.
And he's like, you keep fucking going, man. He's like, it may be too late for me. I'm scared as fuck right now. He said, but you keep going because you change a lot. And like, so when people like, what's your motivation? Like, yeah, I've had strangers tell me that I helped them. Yeah. But hearing my cousin that would have never gone vegan, never thought about going vegan, to tell you like, man, you better not stop. You better not fucking stop. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that's been motivation for a long, like, and that was before he even got to that point, but he was, you know, it was just a lot to hear that from him. The toughest motherfucker I know on the phone crying, telling me, yeah, man, you doing what you're supposed to be doing, man. You keep going. And that's what the tattoo is of? The get it done. And so I said, I got it here on this wrist. Because I said, when I win this fucking Oscar for this movie, when I hold the fucking statue up, it's going to say get it done for everybody to see. I love that, dude. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? All right, that's my crying moment for the day.
Wow, amazing, man. Woo! Dude, thank you so much for being here, man. That was amazing, man. Thank you for sharing your journey. Very inspirational, man. I appreciate it. And people can find you at Badass Vegan on Instagram. Yeah, I think I even got a Pinterest under Badass Vegan. I take Badass Vegan under everything for 2 purposes though. Because one, I like to be involved with whatever platform, but I don't want somebody coming with Badass Vegan and putting porn on the shit or some shit. Which, nothing against the porn industry. If you do that, that's you. Because you'd be shocked how many porn stars are vegan. Really? I never even thought about it. They're about health. Like they're about keeping their longevity and looking young. You know, they really are. So like, I don't demean it, but I'm just saying, I don't want. I'm already shadow banned on Instagram as it is. I don't need any help. Is there Killing Us have an Instagram too?
Instagram,
Twitter, Facebook.
Well, they suspended my Twitter account.
You
right
got
now.
TikToks.
I got TikTok.
Okay.
I got one TikTok on there.
Okay.
But I got it.
But they're killing us as a website.
What's that?
They're killing us as a website.
They're
trying to
killing
kill
us. Film, I think it is.
Okay,
.com.
okay, and Instagram.
But it's linked on like my Instagram page too. They can go right to it. And then Badass Vegan Fitness.
Okay.
.com, which will be launching April 12th.
Badass vegan book next year.
Yeah, the book called Badass Vegan. They fucked up with that, man.
Yeah,
they fucked up with letting me in the door on that.
That's crazy. Let me use the whole. That's the book's called Badass Vegan.
Yeah, it's called Badass Vegan.
So
They let me do it.
Man.
It's amazing, man.
Yeah. So
the Penguin Books. What is it? What is the company?
Penguin Random House.
All right, thank you, Penguin Random
Yeah,
House.
thank you.
Hooking up Badass Vegan. That's sick.
Yes.
That's a game changer, man. It's exciting, man.
Yeah,
Super
man.
exciting.
Yeah, and I give them a lot of credit too because I told them that while the book is for everybody, I'm focusing on people of color. You know what I'm saying? I really am with the book. And I told them, they were very adamant, like we're gonna promote it this way.
Yeah.
Today's show, this and that. And I'm like, well, I mean, you putting all that money in, of course you're gonna promote it because you want to be successful. But I told them, I said, one thing we have to do is we have to do a historically black college and university tour. I was like, we got to go where the people are. That's one thing I've learned in this journey is like, we got to stop being, hey, I'm over here in vegan land. Come over here with us.
Preaching to the choir.
You got to go where they're at.
Agreed.
Like, you got to go to them.
Yeah.
I see so many people that are vegan. Like, I can't be around people that aren't vegan. It's like, but you want them to be vegan.
Right.
Like, I don't get that.
Yeah,
like,
neither, man.
Yeah.
I'm not religious at all, like I said. But if Jesus never went around people that weren't his followers,
right,
he wouldn't be talking to nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to go to people that you're trying to help. If you're really trying to help them, you got to understand that I only know 4 people that have been vegan since birth. 2 of them are my kids. The other 2,
That's awesome.
You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody got their own story, their own journey, and you got to go and help them.
Yeah.
If you're going to help them, help them.
Yeah, you can preach to converted all day, but going to other people is that's a smart move.
Yeah.
Well, awesome, John. Thank you so much for being here, man. We appreciate you. Derek, anything to say?
That was inspirational.
Yeah, I'm so inspired right now.
Yeah.
I want some food now.
Right.
But he only people listen. He eats one meal a day.
Yeah.
He eats once a day for how many years?
Since 2012.
1 meal a day. That's crazy.
I learned, and I gotta give credit, man. I learned it from my late great mentor Jim Morse, not the cigarette company, not the football player. Jim Morse, the bodybuilder. He competed against Arnold. He won. This is how crazy it is. Damn, I keep talking, man. Sorry.
Just go.
He fucking won Mr. America.
Okay.
And Mr. America. Back then, Olympia wasn't even as prominent as it is now. But he won Mr. Universe. Sorry, Mr. Universe. He broke 3 records when he won. He was the first black person to win.
Wow.
He was the first openly gay person to win.
Wow.
And he won by the largest margin ever.
That's incredible.
You know how fucked up it is,
know
though?
that.
When he did that, he's the only person that ever win that the magazine covering the event, they always put the winner on the cover. They not only didn't put him on the cover, when they mentioned the article about the event, they never mentioned his name.
Come on.
They just said, this guy,
It's fucking horrible.
this guy shouldn't have won by this many points. And this guy,
Wow, it's fucking foul.
That's
It's so
wrong.
foul, man.
yeah. And he still went through all that adversity and was just a beast, man. At 83, he could outlive all 3 of us together.
I believe it.
He was an animal, man. But he taught me that whole thing about eating that once a day, and he again, not a scientist, a realist.
Mm-hmm.
And one day we were in his backyard, we're talking, and I had a bunch of footage of our interviews we had, and I can't fucking find them. It kills me to this day, dude. So I never thought I would need him. I'm just I was just talking to him, and it was just fun. And so he told me, he said, man, he went a year without drinking water before.
What? How is that possible?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you. So he said he was walking past his mirror one day. He was naked. He's waking up. He was single. He lived by himself. He was walking past the mirror, and he he looked in the corner. It looked like a silverback gorilla because he had gray hair and everything. He hadn't shaved. And so he's he literally he scared himself shit. I see this big ass figure in the mirror gray. So he started looking up silverback gorillas.
Okay.
And he's they don't drink water. They just eat water-enriched foods.
I never knew
So
that.
he started eating more like water-rich food. So he went like a year with no drinking water.
Wow.
And he would test himself like that.
Very
Like he would just
interesting.
test himself. And then that's how he
Right.
got into like the 1 meal a day shit. And he said like, I got to the point I was like, I'm just eating because people tell you that you should eat all day. Like, it's like, I don't, like your digestive tract works so fucking hard all day. Think about it. What does the word breakfast mean?
Yeah, it's a break before
Break the
the
fast.
breaking the fast.
Breaking the fast.
Right.
Most people eat at 2 a.m. or at midnight, and then they eat at 6, 7, or
Yeah,
8.
dude.
There's no fucking fast.
Right.
Facts, man.
Your digestive system is working 24/7 all day, every day.
It is.
And think about it to the point, and I'll say this since I've been doing this, and I'm not saying everybody has to do this because it's not for everybody, I don't think. But I will say this: my mind doesn't think about food the way it used to.
I'm sure it doesn't.
We think about it as a culture. We'll eat breakfast, and we'll talk about, man, I can't wait for fucking lunch
I know, man.
while we're eating breakfast.
So true.
That's how crazy.
What are you gonna have for dinner? Like, it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, and you're fucking enjoying that breakfast, and you're like,
Right,
dude,
right.
at dinner we gonna fuck some shit up.
really true.
It's very true.
It's crazy. Like when I walked in here, you were like, "Oh man, you want to eat?" Like I can go with y'all to eat. Like I'll go.
Uh-huh.
I'll still be fine. I won't have a fucking morsel.
Wow.
Like I don't think about it like I used to. It doesn't control me. Like I still have my battles though. Don't get me
Right.
wrong. Like once you're addicted to sugar, you like.
Yeah.
It's hard.
We talk
That
about
is-
like sugar literally is a couple of molecules away from cocaine. It's been scientifically proven.
Wow.
And people
really-
fail to realize because people say that's bullshit. I was like, but do you know that cocaine came from a plant?
Yeah.
Just like fucking sugar came from a plant.
Yeah.
And the reason why they even got to the point to process into this granulated form is because they saw the people in the field eating the cocaine leaf,
Yeah.
getting energy out of it.
Yeah. I think it's
Just
more
like
than the
sugar cane. If you
they're
go to
chewing
fucking
on it.
Jamaica,
Yeah.
it's motherfuckers 70 years old that are ripped up like a beast eating sugar cane all day.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But they're not taking the processed sugar.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying I want to be working in the field at 70, but I'm just saying props to that shit.
Harsh job.
You know what I'm saying?
cake.
But
Fuck.
like, yeah. So that's the end of the episode because I keep fucking going. That's it.
No, you come back.
Are
We'll
you
do the part.
sure?
We're gonna
Are
do a
you
part.
sure?
We're gonna do a part two when he gets back.
Part
Hell
two,
yeah.
Joe.
Now I got to get my fucking tattoo, man. Shit.
Yeah. You're
hell
down.
yeah.
You're down, right?
I got to get it,
Being the
man.
middle finger crew.
got
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I got to
Thank you so much for being there, man.
Nah,
Like I
thank you,
learned
man,
so
for
much
the
about
invite.
you. I'm honored to have you at the podcast.
Hell
Derek,
yeah,
thanks for
man.
being here once again.
Thank you.
You-
This
You like
was
the
great.
dude that was with Johnny Carson?
Oh yeah.
That was
yeah.
like,
Ed McMahon.
yes!
Ed McMahon. Yes.
Yes.
Ed McMahon.
Yeah,
Yes,
Ed
Johnny.
McMahon. That's what he is. Yeah.
I'm your.
Yeah. Like Johnny would crack a joke and then Ed would be like, yes.
That was hilarious.
Derek sings in a very popular, huge metal band called Sepultura from
Oh yeah,
Brazil,
I know.
from Brazil.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying with him being like the co-host here.
I know.
Yes.
On that note, thank you so much, bro.
No, man, appreciate it.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening to the One Life One Chance podcast. Appreciate your subscriptions. Please rate, review, spread the word, share it, whatever you can do. I appreciate it so much. I'm having so much fun doing this podcast, and I appreciate all the support. You guys are fucking awesome.